Australia, and welcome to You Have a Voice. Thank you so much for joining us, and look at our beautiful studio audience today. It's so nice to see all these lovely faces that have arrived here today, people that I've seen on Facebook that are now all live in human form, which is wonderful. So lovely to see you. We are going to have an amazing time today. We have 9 speakers who are going to inspire us with their stories and keep us all motivated to get up and do things with ourselves and our life and our work. But first of all, I'm going to put my glasses on for this, because last time I did this, I couldn't see and it was really dumb. And I'm not that vain because I like my glasses. So, first of all, I would like to say a big, huge thank you to our sponsors, Big Voice Media, Alpha Info Digital Productions, and the Videopreneur School. So can you please join me in giving them a big hand of applause? Because we would not be here without them. Now, your story matters, and you do too, and that's what we're here for today, to tell our stories. And now, because we're live streaming on Facebook, I'd like to see all you guys commenting on Facebook, putting all your little comments up. Tell us where you are from around the world, because we'd really like to know. And you can win an amazing prize with the wonderful host and sponsor of our show. And we want to know, in the comments, what is the one thing that you want to be known for? So please put that in the comments. Everyone here can do it too. All of you at home can do it. That would be wonderful. So please let me, after we've had a big thank you, I'd like to welcome to the stage the wonderful lady who is behind this event. Please give a big, huge welcome to Melissa Groom.
Thank you so much for joining us today on this amazing event. One of the first kind of a live stream of 9 amazing women sharing their stories with the world. This is something that is very deep in my heart, so important, that I'm passionate about, that I do in my business every day, teaching people to get out there and share their story and their message with the world, because it can change somebody's life. Okay, just one sentence can make that difference, can make that positive change in their life. So that's why we're doing this. Hopefully there'll be lots more. We've already got a waiting list of speakers who want to come and speak at our next event. I want to say thank you to all the speakers who have flown in from all around Australia to be here today at this event. Yay. They've made a huge effort, so give them a huge round of applause. And thank you, Suzi, for being our lovely MC. Yay! And thanks again to all of our sponsors as well, and our beautiful gift sponsors, which we'll be thanking later as well.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Melissa. Now, I also want to say a huge hello to everybody who's out there in video land, in Facebook land. So can you all turn around and give them a big wave to the camera at the back? Yay! Hi, everyone, from all of us. We're all here, and we're all here with you, so we're all in this together, which is great. Now, I'd like today we have a morning session with 5 speakers, and then at 1:30 we're going to resume our live stream and have 4 speakers in the afternoon session. So if you can share your support by sharing this live stream to all your friends, we are very appreciative if you could do that. That would be awesome. Now, today's first amazing woman in business that will be sharing her story is Rachael Watt. Rachael knows that you can create a business and life that you love on your terms by being true to you, backing yourself and taking massive action. Rachael Watt is an award-winning marketer, international speaker and leading business growth strategist. Rachael's passion is providing other business experts with the roadmap, skills and confidence to build their own 6-figure business on their terms. Now, to share her journey and secrets to success in business and life, please welcome Rachael Watt.
It is so awesome to have the opportunity to be here with you all today and share just a little bit of my journey with you. You see, the difference between the business and life you have and the business and life you want is you. Every single one of you has a story and has moments and situations that have shaped who you are. And for me in my life, I too have had moments that have shaped me and made me what I am today. And I actually want to share 3 of those pivotal points in my journey with you today. The first was when I transitioned from my high-powered corporate role into the world of entrepreneurship. The second was when I made the decision to leave a non-serving relationship and become a single mother. And the third was when I lost everything, hit rock bottom, and how I was able to bounce back. You see, for me, it was 2006. And from anyone looking in at my life, they would have thought I had the perfect lifestyle. I was a senior corporate marketing executive for one of the biggest banks in Australia. I had this party lifestyle on the northern beaches of Sydney. I had an apartment that overlooked the harbour, the opera house, the bridge. I didn't have any money worries. You know, I had a salary most people would die for. And to anyone looking in, they would have thought, this girl has the best life. Now, that might have looked the case, but for me, living that life, I felt empty and unfulfilled and like, is this my life? You see, I set a goal when I was very young that I wanted to be top of that corporate game. And I was lucky enough that I hit those ranks at age 26. So this time I was 28 and I was going, oh my God, is this what the next 30 years of my life is going to be like? Is this what I have to look forward to? You know, I'd been schooled and I'd worked hard to get where I was going to go. But I saw myself on this corporate Groundhog Day thinking there has to be something more. And I remember praying to the universe. One day I was walking home and I remember it quite clearly and I was going, please give me a sign, send me something. And let me tell you, you've got to be careful what you wish for because two things came my way in the space of the same week. And the first thing was I was introduced to the world of entrepreneurship and personal development. Now that was new to me. I'd been schooled to be an employee. And the second thing is I was introduced to the person who was going to change my world forever when I found out I was pregnant with my son, Callum. All of a sudden, in the space of a week, I had this new purpose. It wasn't at all what I thought the purpose of my life was going to be, but I had a new purpose, and I was all in, ready to take up this next challenge. I'd asked for it, and the universe delivered. So I went all in. With the world of entrepreneurship and personal development, for me, it was like Pandora's box had been opened. There was suddenly a new way of thinking, a new way of earning money, a new way of being, and I just thought, this is the path for me. I am all in on this journey. And I knew that it was exactly where I wanted to go. So for the next 3 years, I transitioned from the corporate world to being a consultant because that's what they taught was step one. So I became this consultant. I mapped my business model and I created my first marketing product. And I was set to hit the market because I realized, shit, I have skills. I have knowledge that people out there, out with this corporate world, actually really want to hear and want to know. So I was destined to I am going to share this. But there was a problem. I was stuck in a rut. And I was stuck in a relationship where my whole focus was making my partner's dreams become a reality. And I really didn't have room to make my own a reality. And that took me to pivotal point number 2 in my journey. When in 2010, I made the decision to become a single mom. I made the decision to leave a non-serving relationship. And why was it non-serving? Well, I'd really forgotten who I was in this relationship. There was definitely no room for me to be me, as I just said, and no room for me to make my dreams a reality that for 3 years I'd been jumping up and down wanting to do, and there was no love or connection. My son was 2 years old at this point, and I knew that this decision, although it was my decision, was going to change his world as well. And I knew that I was going to be solely responsible for this other little human, little being, and shaping him into being someone we could both be proud of. And although it was my decision, like I said, I was grieving. You know, this wasn't what the chapter or the story of this part of my life I thought was going to be. So I was grieving this newfound status of single motherhood and doing it on my own. You know, there's a story that goes around with every situation that we tell ourselves. But I was faced with 2 choices. I could wallow in my newfound status and story, or I could strive and thrive and move forward to do what I actually wanted to do, and that's what I chose to do. So in that next year, I did build my business. I launched my first company, Marketing Key International, MKI. I compartmentalized my life to make it a reality. And in the first 8 months of launch, we made a high multiple 6-figure income just missed that 7-figure milestone. So finally, for the first time, I was living my truth, and I was the commander of my own ship. And it was such a good feeling. But you see, but this is when the third pivotal point in my journey came. I'd been an entrepreneur in business for 2 to 3 years now. We'd helped hundreds of people create 6 to 7-figure empires following the marketing programs and systems that I taught. But I wanted more. I was in a completely different mindset and different life stage, and I wanted more. I think about that now and I think, oh God. But I also thought to myself, I've only been this entrepreneur for 2 to 3 years. I'm still like the apprentice. I call it my entrepreneurial apprenticeship phase. I felt like the apprentice in there, and I felt like because I'd never hit that 7-figure income barrier, that I had to follow the path of those that were further along than me and those that were doing that. And the biggest lesson in my life and in my business came when this legend in the business world heard me speak at an international conference and said he wanted to partner with me, that we should create a business together that with his network and my skills, we could be unstoppable. Now this was music to my ears. I was like, oh my God, there's this veteran, he wants to work with me, this is gonna be so awesome. And of course, I was all in. He introduced me to a lifestyle I knew was there, but I never thought I could be part of. Red carpet events in LA, meeting celebrities, all sorts of stuff. I erred with caution though. I did get contracts put in place, clear agreements, and I thought I'd cross the T's and dot the I's. But I soon came to realize that not everyone has the same integrity in business. Not everyone is their word or is as honest. And 6 months of working on some amazing projects, as he was right, the business was a success. And we did hit that 7-figure income milestone. But none of the 50-50 revenue split that we agreed hit my bank account. So for 6 months, I lived off savings. I paid our team of money in the bank. I had to find money for the big tax fees and then, of course, legal bills, because after 6 months of this conversation going back and forward, I decided to seek legal advice to try and recoup the funds and also have those agreements honored. Now, after months of going back and forward in this legal system, I was emotionally drained. I'm sure many of you could probably relate to that feeling of being emotionally drained. And my lawyer said to me, Rach, you will win, but you will still have to get the money out of this individual. And it's going to take hours. And it's going to be even more emotionally draining than it was in the first place. You should walk away. For the sake of you, your family, my son was now 7. He said, you should walk away and go and build yourself back up again. So that was really, really hard to make the decision to do that. How could someone not be their word or not honor that or let another individual who was just trying to grow as much as them go through this situation? But I did walk away. They said, let the systems in place help you. So in August 2015, I ended up liquidating the company and declaring bankruptcy. So here I was, a single mom, broken, bankrupt, embarrassed, all these emotions, thinking to myself, how did I get myself here? And how was I going to find the strength to get myself out of it? And I remember sitting at my kitchen breakfast bar with my head in my hands. Those moments at night when the house is all quiet. And looking at the finances. And there was $3.65 in the bank. We're winning, right? $3.65 in the bank. And I thought, what is my next best move? What am I going to do? And again, I was faced with 2 choices. I could play victim to my situation and get enrolled in what had happened in the poor me cycle, or I could pick myself up, get real, and get back on the bus And that's exactly what I did. So I streamlined my whole life. I got real. I asked myself, what do I want? And what is really important to me? And what is definitely going to be the next step for me and my son? So I went back to basics. I simplified everything. I actually went back to consulting because I thought to myself, how on earth can I get up on a stage and teach people to have a successful business when I just lost mine? I needed to heal from that, and I needed to come back from that. So I downsized our living from a home that was expensive to run to an apartment, which is so much easier to run. I went from having crazy expenses in this lifestyle to having a lifestyle that I love that cost me less than $50,000 a year to sustain. And in those 3 years preceding that decision, I still made a 6-figure income. And because my living expenses were lower, I was still able to take my son to Europe for 4 months. I was still able to enjoy life. And when I think about what was the steps that I did to bounce back and how did I get back on top again, there was 4 pillars or cornerstones or things that I did or words that I now resonate with what I actually had transpire. And these 4 words actually make up a word. And I heard another speaker use this word as an analogy, and I thought that is the perfect way to put it into context for you guys today. So that word is hail. Not the big balls of ice that fall from the sky, but hail, to be deemed good enough, to be perfect just the way you are. Now the H in hail stands for honesty. Here it's about getting clear and real with yourself and asking yourself, what do you want? And why do you want it? And once you know what you want, what would you do differently in your business and life right now to change the situation? And then once you're clear what you really want, you will be able to make every decision from that standpoint. You'll say, is this going to take me further away from where I want to go, or is it going to take me closer? The A stands for authenticity. In the words of Gary Vaynerchuk, be you because everybody else is taking. And to be honest, if you're trying to be someone you're not, it's just damn exhausting. So be you and be true to you. The I stands for integrity. Now, most people know integrity as being your word. And you absolutely have to be your word, but you have to be true to you. Trust your instinct. If it doesn't feel right, it probably isn't. And the final is love. Love yourself. Believe in you and know that you are enough. Do not listen to the good opinion of others. You can listen, wish them well, but don't take it on. Love you and stay true to you always. Because every single one of you here has a story. And I want to leave you with this saying. You've all had a story. You've all had situations that shaped you and had to make choices about how you dealt with them. But I'm here to say there is nothing stronger than a woman who has put herself back together. So believe in you. Back yourself. Take massive action and never let the setbacks of the past determine your future. Acknowledge it, learn from it, and let it go. Because the difference between the business and life you have and the business and life you want is you. So hail you and go create that business and life you love on your terms. Thank you.
Thank you, Rachel. That was awesome. Wow, wasn't that fantastic? I just love listening. That was so good.
Thank you.
Now, earlier on, I went round the room and I collected some questions.
Oh, okay.
So we've got some audience questions. I have an
Okay.
audience question for you that I have over here in my little thing here.
Okay.
So it's not going to be too tricky, I swear. Let's see. Where's your question? Out of all the marketing strategies and tactics out there to get clients, what's the number one thing you recommend when trying to hit 6-figure success and more?
Okay, well, I think if you want to hit 6 figures in the business, the number one thing you have to do is leave the house.
Yeah.
You have to do exactly what you guys are doing here today. You have to get out and about. You have to connect, collaborate. Connection is your currency. And if you do want to have success, you got to get out there and tell people what you're doing. So leave the house, connect, and give value. Don't connect to sell, connect to share, to give value and build trust and relationships with those that you want to do business with. And that's how you're going to get to the success. Marketing's never about you. It's always about your client and what you can do for them.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you,
Yeah,
Rachel.
thank
Let's give
you.
Rachel a huge round of applause.
Thank you.
That was
Thanks.
great. Now, we've got something a little bit interesting for you. I have a roving reporter on the floor, Miss Maria down here. I'm going to just cross to Maria here, and she's going to be introducing us to some of our guests here today.
Hello. Hi. How are you? I'm good. Can you please share with everyone your name?
Sure, hi, I'm Donna Schwakowski.
And what's your business?
My business, I'm your travel partner and I'm your wine partner. I help people take their brilliance to new places.
New places. And tell me, Donna, how did you find the first presenter today?
I have been following Rachael for a while, so I know a bit about her story. So it was good to hear her, and come to see a number of my friends and support them, and excited to do a wine draw and give away some wine at lunchtime.
That sounds lovely. Now, can you tell me quickly, did you have an aha moment this morning?
No, I haven't had my morning coffee, to be totally honest with you.
Uh-huh.
was just get here on time, yeah.
Wonderful. And we have Tracy here. Tracy,
You do? Hello.
tell us about your business.
I'm an author and an international speaker. I've written a book called The Unhappy Smile, and I help women deal with domestic violence and sexual abuse.
Wow, that's big and wonderful. Wonderful. Have you had an aha moment this morning?
I did. I just was blown away how Rachael hit rock bottom, and then the very next moment she stood up. And I thought, when women can engage that tenacity, it's a beautiful thing.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing. One more. We'll do one more. Yes. Hello.
Hi there,
What's your name?
Melissa.
Hello, Melissa. And what's your business?
My business is The Makeup Stylist, and I am a makeup artist for film, television and photographic, and I also help women build confidence and building from outside within.
Wonderful. And did you have an aha moment today?
I love the hail.
The hail was amazing.
The hail was fantastic, so I've written that down. I have made lots of notes.
Wonderful. Thank you, ladies.
Back to me.
Back to you.
Woohoo. Our next amazing speaker is a wonderful lady who I actually got to do a little interview with, and I had the pleasure of meeting her when she came to my house. She is so inspiring. I'm so stoked that she's here today to share her story with us. I'll tell you a little bit about her. Being heard, well, basically I'll say her name is Riddell. That's our next speaker. Being heard is a basic human need. Believe, be heard, be visible. Your Voice Matters with Riddell specialises in powerful, transformational tools for healing the wounds of life's traumas and finding peace to reclaim your dignity and self-worth through love, confidence and your voice. Grab a little lippy and a whole lot of heart, and please give a huge warm welcome to Riddell.
Today, I have an awesome life, but that was not always my story. Through pain, I learned forgiveness, love, and just getting on with it. You may be wondering, why would we want to talk about this? You might be in a position where you've had your voice suppressed for a variety of reasons. Mine came through grief and loss, but it doesn't matter what the suppression was. The tools for moving forward are exactly the same. I'm going to share something today, and that's my heart, quite precious, but it's going to show you that you don't have to live that journey of pain. It's not unusual when life's traumas hit us for our life to unravel, but it's also necessary to know that you can step forward and make a difference and live a wonderful life. When you start sharing your story after you've had deep trauma, quite often you're still speaking from a point of pain. and I was doing that. And what it led to was trauma energy, an energy that drained me and stopped me from moving forward. But once I released that, I was able to share my story as I do today from a point of strength. So come with me on a little journey now. When I was 4 years old, we were at a public function and I corrected my father, of whom I was terrified, and got a hiding. From that moment, I made the decision that it wasn't safe to speak up and what I had to say wasn't important. I carried that underlying belief for decades. So I grew up in a violent alcoholic household. My father told me I was stupid, useless and worthless and not worth educating. I was a sad, unhappy, frightened child with no self-confidence, no self-esteem and no self-worth. Moving on then into my teenage years, my escape was on Saturday afternoons. I used to go to my girlfriends and we'd get all dressed up to go to the dance on Saturday night. So this particular night, there I was in my green gingham dress, scoop neckline, little puffy sleeves, cinched waistline, flared skirt, beautiful rope petticoats and bobby socks and shiny shoes. I thought I was the bee's knees. The excitement was I had met this guy and I thought he was my dreamboat, and he promised me a night to remember. My naive 15-year-old self thought that meant a drive to the park, a peck on the cheek, look at the moon and then go home. But I heard a noise. I turned and there were two guys on the back seat. They ignored my screams to stop, 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 and told me if I opened my mouth, they would come back and finish me off. That kept me quiet for 45 years. You can't believe how things can happen. But worse was to come, a pregnancy and an adoption. And the authorities' voices rang in my ears of unclean, dirty, disgusting, a disgrace to yourself, the universe, and everything in between. So I lived that life. And 3 years later, I had a second child. My self-worth was so low. Go nursing, they said, get out of society's way, because no decent man will want me. So I did. And I became officious and efficient. Bitch nurse describes me beautifully. But I proved them wrong, and I met this amazing man and had a wonderful 31-year marriage. Now, it wasn't without challenge. Oh, good on it. It wasn't without challenge. At 24, I took on 4 kids aged 10 to 16. Woohoo! And then we had a baby the next year. So I had love, I had respect, I had everything that I needed. I grew and blossomed. And in that time, I joined Toastmasters. Little did I know 40 years ago that those skills would help me in the speaking, the coaching, the moving forward that I do today. So I lived that life, and in 2002, the world as I knew it fell apart. Les left for the heavenly fields. I was terrified of being alone, terrified of having to cope, terrified of having to do things I had never had to do before. So I did what I do best, and I pushed until I dropped. 1 year later, I was 51 kilos and an emotional, physical and spiritual wreck. At that time, I began journaling, and that journaling took me to the real raw places where I didn't want to go. But it evolved into a book, Beyond Abuse, and that was self-published in 2006. It opened doors and I started speaking, running programs, etc. Life rolled on, and 12 months or so ago I decided that I would do a rewrite on the book. So I've done that. and it came out in May of this year. The day it came out, and it hit Amazon Australia at number 1 3 days later. Woo! How good was that? It includes not only my story, but stories of other men and other women. So along with that amazing thing, like the day I saw the link, a light bulb went off and I thought, I'm ready to search for the 2 babies I gave up in the 1960s. 2 months later, I met my daughter. Well, the daughter that I thought I would never see, touch or hold, I have met, hugged and talked to. We have the God-given opportunity to create a relationship. How good is that? So now we're in 2018. We're past the, I'm going to get you, you bastard. We're open, we're raising a consciousness, raising humanity, and looking at deeper conversations. So as we move forward and look at where we can go, I'm living proof that no matter what happens, you can stand up and still be who you are. You can have a wonderful life if you step up and do something. So there were 3 things that helped me enormously: forgiveness, confidence and love. The 3 points about forgiveness are it's all about you. It's helping you so that you can move on. It doesn't condone what happens or say it didn't happen. It's your way of finding peace. You can start on it before you feel ready, and it's not a one-time action. It's an active, daily choice. Those 3 things gave me back my self-worth, my dignity, and my confidence. And that leads into confidence, which is that amazing energy that just sparkles out of people. And you know it when you see it and you say, I want some of what she's got. It's being comfortable in your own skin and being able to deal with stressful situations. It's just the essence of who you can be. And lastly, love. I learned to love through my husband. He was the first man to show me respect, and I grew and blossomed within that time. But what I learned later, on being on my own, is the value of self-love. When you live within those parameters, when you're steeped in your own truth, it's a wonderful place to be. So just imagine what would be possible if you changed your story, if you let go of the old patterns. What would happen then? What if you were really understood for who you are? And what if changing your story transformed your life? Wouldn't that be good? Who you are is God's gift to you. Who you become is your gift to God and the universe. My gift to you is to bring hope, love, and joy. So grab your lippy, a whole lot of heart, and come and join me.
Oh, wow, Di, I have tears in my eyes. That was so amazing. Isn't she amazing? Thank you for your authenticity, for sharing that really vulnerable story with us. That was just huge. I have to hug you now. Big audience hugs. That's a hug from everyone. Wasn't that amazing? This is what this is all about at Australia, our show that we're doing now. We're all going to be talking about our journey, and we're going to be doing it with honesty and authenticity. And you get to learn about things so that you know that your voice counts too. Now,
Absolutely.
I have an audience question for you, madam.
Oh, really?
Let's see what I have here. Now, you ready?
I'm ready.
Tick, 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 tick. Why is speaking up so vital in the healing process, and why, it's a 2-part question, and why does their voice matter? As in that
To answer the first question, silence leads to powerlessness. And when they team together, they are a powerful voice that will keep you down and unable to speak up and lead your life. So speaking out, your voice matters. No matter if it's small, it can still be heard. But your voice matters very, very much. And I think it's a huge message for women to learn.
Awesome. Thank you so
That
much,
answer?
Di. That's a great answer. Let's give Di a big round, huge, big round of applause. Thank you so much. Yay. Thank you. That was awesome. Now, I'm going to cross to our roving reporter on the floor, Miss Maria. I think you should swap tables in a minute. And you have to be quicker.
I have to
Because
be
otherwise,
quicker.
we're just going to power
Hello.
through.
Good.
Lillian?
Enjoyed that?
I am a travelpreneur and I actually help people to personalise their lifestyles through DNA wellness, through travel and through e-commerce.
Wonderful. Did you have a dry eye then?
It was very emotional, but I love her resilience and it was awesome to hear her story, and thank you for sharing, Di.
Thank you. And over here, hello.
Hi, I'm Sarah Griffiths. I'm actually one of the speakers.
Wonderful. Well, we'll hear more from Sarah in a little while, but quickly, just tell us your business name.
It's sallyg.com. I'm an executive coach and business strategist.
Thank you. Can't wait to hear your speech.
We're going to have one more person talk about Di while lovely Di is standing on stage.
We will have one more person talk about
And then
Di.
we'll cross back. Thank you,
Wonderful.
roving reporter Maria,
Thank you.
as she
Thank you
roves
so
around
much.
the room.
Impressive women everywhere. So we're going to go over here. Hello, Robin.
Hi, Maria. Congratulations, Di. I have known Di for many years, and it's wonderful, most brilliant presentation. Wonderful to see you today. And what I got from Di, I made a note that silence leads to powerlessness.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Thank you. Thank you. Back to you, Suzi.
Thank you.
Write my first book. She was the one who supported me. Thank you, Robin.
Thanks very much to Di. Yeah, see, we're going to clap after everyone, and then I'm going to make you clap some more, and then later on we're going to get up and we're going to do the happy dance, just because that's what you do in these live gigs and stuff. So everybody at home, just reminding you, on the live stream, make sure you put your comments out there. We want to see your names. Put down their comments. There's a chance for you to win a fabulous prize with Melissa Groom in the Videopreneur School. So we want to know that you're there. Say hi. Obviously, I can't watch it because I'm not looking, so I'm saying hi to everyone out there, and everyone here is saying hi to you. And now we've got another fantastic speaker coming up that I'm very excited about introducing you to. I'll walk over to my little podium here. So, traditionally, climbing to the top of the business ladder has been a long and lonely walk. Though, what if there was an easier way, a healthier way, a more successful way? Karen Chaston assists people who are aspiring to move to the next level in any area of life, to easily design their life, love way of life. Please give a huge warm welcome to Karen Chaston.
I remember the morning of the 10th of July, 2011, like no other. My husband and I had slept in at Sunday morning, and it's now 8:30 in the morning, and I'm in the kitchen looking for what to have for breakfast. My husband is walking down the stairs to take the rubbish out. As he opens the back door, he calls out, "Bloody hell! Dan is asleep at the back door." Alarm bells go off as I quickly take the stairs. As even though Dan has a habit of drinking too much, he's 27, he always makes it home to bed. As I run through the door, I can see him lying there in the fetal position, saliva coming out of his mouth. Dan, wake up, wake up. Have you ever noticed that sometimes seconds seem like hours when life is at stake? Very quickly, the paramedics arrive and they say the words, "No mother, no parent ever wants to hear." I'm sorry, madam. He's dead. He has been, probably for several hours. Now, what does one do with that information? What would you do? What did I do? I chose survival, and I just went back to normal. At the time, I was a really successful CFO of a publicly listed company, so I thought. Most people take time to grieve, but me, being my tough, ambitious self, I went straight back to work, eating more, drinking more, and working even more. This was my passport photo. As you can see, I'm carrying more weight, I look very masculine, and I don't even have my lippy on right. I was very disconnected, and my eyes actually confirm it. Do you ever feel disconnected? Do you ever feel successful on the outside, but deep inside you are empty, unfulfilled? This is my 2017 passport photo. Yes. But why is there such a difference? I can tell you it's not just the lipstick. Considering that most people, when they're grieving, they seem to age, why is there such a difference? Why? Well, in order for you to learn that, you need to hear a little bit more of my story. About 15 months after Dan passed, the company I was working for was merging with another. And during the merger process, the directors came to me and they said, Karen, you will not be CFO in the new company, but you'll be more or less doing everything that you're doing now. And I thought, that's fine by me. Well, it was, until they decided to offer me a salary that was 2/3 of my current salary. Suddenly, I thought, this is my limit. I can't do this anymore. I don't want to do this anymore. Is it a sign? Do you get signs? Do you listen to the signs? My whole body was screaming at me. Karen, Karen, what do we need to send you for you to wake up? Dan passed, nothing happened. You're unhealthy, you're overweight, and now there is no respect. What do we need to send you for you to wake up? Do you listen to the signs that you receive? Are you even aware of the signs that are coming at you? Well, I'm pleased to say that I listened, and that's when I started on the path I'm on now. I like to call it the journey to becoming my own best friend. It's where I started to put me first, not from an ego perspective, more from the more I look after me, the more I can assist others perspective. Now, I'm pretty sure that most people here and out there have been on a plane and they've heard the safety announcement. In case of emergency, please put your own oxygen mask on first. Well, I've discovered that that is the best way to live each day. Now, it might sound like this new journey would be an easy one. I'm here to tell you it has not been. It's been a long walk, and at times a very lonely walk. All of my demons arrived, just like unwanted house guests. I was leaving behind a person who was very confident, very knowing, who was backed by a master's degree and other accreditations. She knew what she was doing, but I also knew it wasn't me. I was fake in that world. I wasn't connected to me. As I started to learn new concepts and gain more awareness and gain more understanding, I very quickly realised just how diseased I was in that world. But more importantly, as I reflected back, I realised that all of my peers were exactly the same. It truly was a dog-eat-dog world. It was survival of the fittest, but none of us were physically fit. Can you relate to this world? Does it sound familiar? I quickly realised that through Dan's passing, I was given my life-changing lessons so that I could create and be the person I am here today. I have created the Live Love by Design programs, books, and all for the reason so that I could step back into that world, that dog-eat-dog world, so that I could make a difference from within. I thank Dan for saving my life, because I now know that I was heading probably at 1,000 miles an hour towards a major illness, heart attack, stroke, diabetes, possibly even death. Over the last 5+ years, I have discovered that if you are the only person you are going to spend your entire life with, why are you putting yourself last and giving up on your dreams? I've also discovered that when you drift apart from the real you, life doesn't work. It may for a little while, but it won't long term. And I've also discovered that you do not have to spend your health in order to get your wealth. How often do you ignore your mind? How often do you ignore your body? How often do you ignore your family, friends, and loved ones? How often are you busy just being busy? And how often do you waste your hard-earned money? And more importantly, how often do you tap dance to work and tap dance home? Through Dan's passing, I have learned that I had to connect to the real me. I am so glad I did. Every morning, I love seeing who smiles back at me. And I ring my friends all the time. I just love my life. I am having the best time. And more importantly, I don't cringe now whenever I see my reflection in a shop window. I just hope that you can all get this from this talk, and you don't have to experience any tragic event in your life in order for you to wake up. I can't protect you. Only you can protect you. And awareness is the greatest protection of all. It is time for you and everybody to design their live, love way of life, where you truly get to live and love each and every day, where you get to love who you are, where you get to design a life where your dreams come true quicker. It truly is time for you to create the greatest love connection between your best friend and you. Thank you.
More hugging.
Heart to heart.
That was great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You so much for sharing your journey.
Thank
Congratulations on
Thank
such a huge journey that you've had and a huge transformation in your life. Isn't she great? Let's give her another round of applause. Thank you. Everybody's making me cry today. It's great. I'm so excited to be here and listen to these wonderful stories from these great women. And a lot of us can relate to the stories that we hear, whether it's happened to ourselves or it's happened to our friends or it's happened to people in our family. You know, we're listening to some very relatable life stories, which is so exciting. Now, Miss Karen.
Yes.
The question that I have for you, actually I have two, but I'll give you the first one first. What advice would you give a woman in the corporate domain if she feels she isn't being paid what she's worth?
Okay, I love this. Thank you, whoever asked it. I truly believe that your pay comes back to your self-worth, and you have to know what your value is. There's no point in you comparing yourself to someone else, your boss, who doesn't work as hard as you, earns a lot more money than you. It's about you understanding what value you bring to the company, understanding your self-worth, taking the time to actually work it out, and then, of course, you can confidently go in there and ask for what you deserve to be paid. And it's easy to do once you know your self-worth.
Excellent answer. Now, there's something that I noticed about you that I just have to ask.
Okay.
I'm sure everybody else has noticed. Check out these amazing shoes. I want to know, I think there's a little bit of a story behind these lovely little red patent numbers.
Exactly. Don't we all want to be Dorothy? Don't we all want to actually understand what Dorothy actually did? As soon as she found her real self, all she had to do was click and go home to herself. Thank you for asking.
Oh, you're most welcome. Big thank you to
you.
Karen Chaston. Okay, now because we've had 4 speakers, right, and we've got, another 1 or 2 to go, I have to tell you something. We're just going to lighten the mood a little bit, just because this is me. I'm a chronic waver, all right? So I know this is just something that I do, so I'm going to just do this with the audience. So I like to wave goodbye to people when they're leaving my house. It kind of keeps the visit going on a little bit longer than it should. So I like to wave, so I'd like you to all wave back to me. So there's a normal wave, there's the royal wave, right? We all know the royal wave. There's the really excitable wave, see ya! Thanks so much for coming. And then there's the wiggle wave. Bye! So I'd like you all quickly stand up and give me a wiggle wave back, thank you. I know, here we go, wiggle wave, yay! Wiggle wave to everyone at home. Lovely. Thank you all so very much for waving to me. I do love a group wiggle wave. Now, our next speaker, Michelle Ryan. She is a manifesting dynamo and wants to share her secrets to success with us. I'm huge into manifesting, so I'm really looking forward to hearing what you have to say. Please welcome Michelle Ryan.
Thank you, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here today. And my story is all about manifestation. I was a single mother with a newborn baby. I had no job, no car, no money, no idea of how I was going to survive the day or the week. But what I did have was an ability to manifest. Now, what is manifestation? Manifestation is that magic place that exists inside of us. It's that place that has a connection to our higher self, the Creator, all of our angels and spirit guides. And it really is that easy to use, but unfortunately, most people aren't taught that it exists. So my story and my journey is all about sharing with the world how I manifested an amazing business. Every day, I had a newborn baby, I was renting a small apartment, and all I did every day was say to the universe, what would it take to create the most amazing business where I make obscene amounts of money and have lots of fun doing it? And very importantly, I would destroy and uncreate anywhere in my universe that would stop that showing up. Now, I went about saying this every day, hundreds of times a day. I would say it while I was driving, while I was walking down the street, while I was breastfeeding my baby. Wherever I was, I would ask that question, knowing that the universe had my back. Do you know that when I was manifesting my business, which is now the Be Enlightened candle brand, which has turned into a multi-million-dollar company, I had no idea what I was even asking for or what I wanted to do. All I did was let the universe show me what was for my highest good, and let them guide it to me. So I would literally just say, I kept the question very open, very expansive. So what would it take to create the most amazing business where I make obscene amounts of money and have lots of fun doing it? And I literally let the universe, my angels and my spirit guides, guide it to me. So every day I would simply just follow the energy and allow things to show up. And when you are manifesting, when you are standing in that space of consciousness and awareness and oneness to all things, when you're asking questions to the universe, whether you're manifesting a dress, a house, a new car, a relationship, perhaps good health, what happens is the moment you start asking that question, just the simple fact that you're aware that you have spirit guides working for you and through you, you start resonating at a space of consciousness. And when you do and you start moving through your life, that energy space of consciousness, when things show up in your life that are an answer to those questions, you get that aha moment, and it resonates at that same space of consciousness as when you were asking the question. And that's what I want people to start looking for in your life. And manifestation, yes, it's all about manifesting things and acquiring assets so we can live a comfortable, healthy life for us and our families. But the beautiful thing about manifestation really is manifesting you. Manifesting your connection to self. So I used to say every single day, what energy, space, and consciousness can I be to be the energy, space, and consciousness I truly be? And I would say this every single day, and I can honestly say that now I do feel like I resonate at that space of consciousness each and every day. So it's like being given a magic genie and saying, you know what, inside of you is a magic genie that's going to give you endless wishes for your entire life. And when you start functioning from that space and start asking questions, the universe answers and gives you everything you truly desire. And listening to these beautiful stories today from these women, I think one of the key elements is that we all know that yes, we can create and manifest, but we need to heal ourselves. We all came into this lifetime with so many layers and things from past lives to heal. And things keep showing up in our life to get us to feel what we need to heal. But unfortunately, we're not aware of it. We just think stuff's happening and why am I so unlucky? But when you can start having awareness and consciousness to the truth of how this reality actually works, you can start healing back the layers. You can start asking the right questions to get the right answers and really go within. So what I suggest you do when you're manifesting at home, no matter what it is you're manifesting, to simply, so for example, what would it take for the perfect car to show up? It's really important to destroy and uncreate anywhere in your universe that'll stop that showing up. For example, I was in about the third year of my business and I needed to get a station wagon so that I could go to the markets, take my products and unload them. I did what I always do and I said, universe, what would it take for the perfect station wagon to show up? And I did this for 4 weeks and I thought, why isn't this station wagon showing up? And I realised I did the most important thing, I asked the question. And in that exact moment, I got an aha moment and the answer came to me. Would you believe 5 years earlier, I went shopping with my husband at the time for a car and she said, why don't you get a station wagon? And I said, I would never drive a station wagon. And do you know, in that moment, I realised that I had locked that manifestation, that reality into my universe, which was not allowing that station wagon to come to me. So very simply, the same way that I manifested in myself not to ever own a station wagon, I simply said, okay, universe, so everywhere I decided I would never ever drive a station wagon, I now destroy and uncreate all that and return it all to sender as that no longer serves me. So now what would it take for a station wagon to show up? And would you believe in that exact moment, I felt this lightness. I felt like that heaviness and that angst had gone. And within a week, the perfect station wagon showed up at the perfect price in the perfect location. So it really is that easy. Manifestation is easier than making a cup of tea with no milk and sugar. It's that simple, but we've never taught it. We weren't told how powerful we were. We weren't told that we had this magic place inside ourselves that connects to the highest power source of the universe, that has every bit of wisdom we need to complete our life's mission. So that's what I want to impart on you today, just how easy it is to manifest. So when you manifest, you simply, number one, ask the question. It's that easy. There's no right or wrong way to ask a question. Number two, be willing to believe you're worthy. Be willing to believe you deserve the best of everything. And if you don't, then heal those parts of yourself. The same way we go to a hairdresser, the same way we don't do our own hair or we don't do our own makeup, whatever it may be, seek out that spiritual healer. Seek out that person that's come here with that destiny for them to be that facilitator for people to heal themselves. Find those people, manifest them into your life. Again, what would it take for the perfect spiritual healer to show up in my life? And I guarantee you they'll come. It is that easy. Just follow the energy, keep asking questions, and keep healing yourself until you can get to that space where all those layers inside of yourself have been transformed, and all you become then is the space of who you really are. So that's my message to you all today, ladies and gentlemen, is manifestation is the key to success. Be willing to ask the questions and know that you have angels, spirit guides, the Creator, everyone on your side, here to make your world a better place. So thank you so much. I have now written a book called The Be Enlightened Journey, Manifesting Your Way to Success, where I teach in that book not only the keys to manifestation, but I have a spirit guide called Enoch, who wrote the Keys of Enoch. And he wanted me to share with the world the keys to enlightenment. And there are 8 keys to enlightenment: love, trust, respect, honor, joy, peace, forgiveness, and gratitude. Now, I know in this reality, there are so many meanings to so many words that are being thrown around. But what I wanted to teach in this book was the true, bottom line, universal meaning of these words. So for example, love. What is love? Does love mean I do the dishes for my husband or I do this? But what is the true universal bottom line meaning of love? And that is when you are truly connected to your soul and know that it exists and it has all the power, to your heart and to your higher self, and you are resonating in a space of consciousness where you know that every single thing that happens in your life is being divinely guided through you and to you for your highest self, that is love. That is the energy vibration of the highest power source, and that is what I believe we all came here to reclaim and own so we can change the face of this reality and manifest heaven on earth. So may I invite you to join me on the Be Enlightened journey. Thank you.
So cool. I'm such a big manifester.
Excellent, isn't it great?
I always get the car park right at the front of the shops.
Yes.
Always, every time. Always.
Absolutely.
Because I believe it's going to be there. It's always waiting for me, the perfect car spot, among other things.
Absolutely.
That was so good. Thank you so much.
You.
Wasn't that fabulous? Wow.
Thank you.
Let's see what little questions I have to ask you.
Ah, exciting.
I know. Well, it could be tricky. Let me find you. Right. Are we ready for the special question from on the floor? So I don't have anybody's names on it, so we won't have a show of hands so we won't dob anybody in or anything. And hi at home. Let's have a big hi at home. We'll just keep remembering everybody's at home on the live stream. So, Michelle,
yes.
What is the one piece of advice you would give to someone who has never manifested before and doesn't believe they can do it?
Okay, a great question. So, what if I told you that everything you have in your life right now, you manifested? Would you believe that every single person on the face of the earth is a manifesting dynamo? You just don't know you're doing it. So what would it take for you now to have the awareness of what you're doing so you can start asking the right questions and get the life you truly desire?
Awesome. Excellent, thank you. Great answer. I'm going to cross now to our live roving. Well, you're not dead, really, are you? So live's a bit dumb, really. That's a bit blunt of me. So I'm going to cross over to Maria for a little question from the floor.
Oh, do we have a question from the floor, Cheryl?
Don't actually have a question, but
Awesome feedback.
been an awesome event. I've loved every speaker so far. There's so much heart, so much courage, and it's just so inspiring to share a small part of your journey. So thank you, ladies. It's been amazing.
Thank you. And Cheryl, while we have you here, can you please tell us your business?
I'm an intuitive artist, and I paint angels and angelic things in my artwork.
Wow.
And I understand your artwork is in our little gift bags.
Sure is, yes.
Oh, we are so lucky.
little
I
taste of
saw your
heaven.
artwork. It's absolutely
Thank
beautiful. Absolutely stunning. You're the most amazing artist. We're so lucky.
Thank you, Cheryl. And we have got Slava. Slava, that's right.
Yes. I am mind, body and eating coach.
Mind, body and eating coach. Fantastic. And you're very much linked to the intuitive side of mind, body and eating, or is it more practical nutrition?
It's a mixture of both because our minds and bodies are very closely intertwined and they always track each other. So I teach my clients not only what to eat but also how to eat.
Wonderful. And any aha moments so far today with our speakers?
It's definitely how their stories are inspiring to everyone, and the hardest moments do create stronger us.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. And one more over here. You're next. Hello.
Hi.
And your name is?
Stephanie.
And Stephanie, and what have you enjoyed about the speakers so far today?
Oh, I love that they all have something relatable that every woman can relate to in every aspect of their stories. And I love Michelle's story about the power of manifestation. I'm a big believer in it.
And I understand your mum is up next.
She sure is. I'm very excited.
We're all going, woohoo! Okay, you'll hear more about Lisa shortly. And over here we have got...
Shireen, hi.
Hi.
I wanted to ask Michelle, can you touch a bit on allowing? Because I know I manifest and I do it very well, but I have a block because I'm so impatient and I don't allow things to happen.
That is such a good question because let me tell you, when I first started manifesting success and I wanted to make the obscene amounts of money, it didn't happen overnight. It didn't happen within a year. I think the decent money started coming after about 2 years. So I think the biggest problem is that people give up too easily. If you truly knew that manifesting worked and you knew you had a connection to the higher self, to your angels, and it was your basically divine inheritance to have everything you truly desire, then when you simply ask the question, you know it's coming. It's only a matter of time. So you've got to let the universe give it to you in the perfect divine timing. Because you see, the universe, your angels can see everything 360 degrees times a godzillion. We can't see that where we are, where we're functioning from. So you've got to let them give it to you because they know that the exact time they give it to you is for your highest good. So just keep asking the questions, never give up, and just know that it's going to come because I guarantee you, just like that hair care product said, it doesn't happen overnight, but it does happen.
Thank you. Back to you, Suzi.
Awesome. Thank you. Let's give a big round of applause to Michelle. Thank you so much, Michelle Ryan. Now, Maria.
Yes.
I had a bit of a blonde moment before.
Okay.
I like to call it menopause memory.
Follow me over
For
here.
those, I'll just follow you. So what I did is I actually forgot to have 3 roving reporter questions for Miss Karen Chaston. So can I invite Karen quickly back to the stage? So, because I stuffed it a bit, so I'm bringing her back on, love. So let's have it. So let's talk to some people. You take it from there, please, Maria.
I will.
I love being up here.
Hello, Karen.
Hi.
How are you?
Oh, excellent, thank you.
And have you got a question?
For
or a comment?
Oh, amazing. I've been a friend of Karen's for over 40 years. So I'm just thrilled to be here, just supporting her today. But I just love the whole room full of inspiring people, all like-minded, and I love the manifestation, and I just love everything.
And we've all had tears in our eyes at several points. And Karen, I'm still recovering.
Kaz.
Thank you for your openness.
Thank you. Kaz, have I changed much?
Oh, totally different person to what she was before. All good. She was just very, very busy before. And doing, as she said, being busy, but not connected to herself. I can't even begin to tell you all the differences in her. It's mind-boggling, actually.
Thank you. And I'm going to head over here. Donna, I know you're speaking shortly.
Yes, I am. I'm up this afternoon, so I'm looking forward to that. But Karen's story, amazing, like so raw, and how do you even get through that? Just incredible, yeah, very emotional.
And I don't want to miss the gentleman in the room.
No, we got to get the blokes. There's a few of them here.
And
we're going to get
especially
you
one
all.
who's so in touch with his yin and his yang and wearing a beautiful pink
The
shirt.
best fish, a pink shirt I've seen on a bloke in a while, I've got to say.
Now, Graham, we know that you have a very special wife next to you, and obviously, I think that we need to know that there are really strong men standing next to these strong women. So, what have you enjoyed about today so far?
I really, that the oxygen mask and breathe just means so much.
Yes.
Stop, breathe and think.
Yeah.
But that oxygen mask just brought it all together.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Back to you, Suzi.
Thank you, Karen. Thank you. So those who are watching us on the live stream, wherever you are, please let us know what country you're from, because I'd love to know what sort of countries we're hitting with our live stream. I know lots of us have got friends all over the world, so it'd be great if you could pop on and pop your country on so we can all go, yay, look, who's in England, it's America. And maybe not in that voice, okay? So our next speaker is awareness and conscious living are the pathways to the alignment of mind, body, spirit and soul. Lisa Ohtaras, energetic healer, spiritual consultant and angel intuitive, healed herself of a serious affliction following her spiritual awakening over 2 decades ago. Lisa specialises in helping you to identify and understand the spiritual perspective relating to why afflictions and repeating patterns and more are present in your life. She combines energetic healing and shares life-changing tools to transform energy and assist you to release and reframe your stories, which are preventing you from moving forward, to assist you to have wellness, balance, and live the best and highest version of oneself. Please give a big warm welcome to Lisa Ohtaras.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I feel very honoured to share the stage with these amazing ladies today, and I would like to share my story with you that has brought me to where I am today. We all have a spiritual enlightening happen to us at some point in our lives, and mine happened 2 decades ago. Actually, it was 21 years ago. I was seriously afflicted with incredible pain in my hands, my feet, numbness alternating with pins and needles. My vision deteriorated. I could not think clearly. I had severe night sweats. I had insomnia, which was not like me. I just was not myself. I was losing weight. My hair, I lost a lot of my hair. And it was like, what is happening to me? I at times thought I was going to have a stroke, and sometimes I actually thought I was going to die. I was that sick. I was happily married. I had 2 small children, and I was a nurse, and I loved my career. I'd been a nurse for over 20 years. It was my dream from the age of 5 to be a nurse, and I followed that. I thought I had the dream life. I had money. I had everything. I had the beautiful 3-storey home, you name it, I had it. Yet I became sick. I did not understand why. It was like, where has this come from? I rang my naturopath. My naturopath was away, and I went to see another lady that I had never met before, highly recommended to me. She was an iridologist, and she looked into my eyes and told me I was a very sick lady, and I said, I know that. And she said, do you have heart pain? I said, every day. And she said, and what do you do? I said, I keep working. And she said, Lisa, she said, you have to stop work. And I said, I can't do that. We're going to build on Monday. This was Saturday. And she said, you're a very sick lady. You cannot do that. And, well, my whole life sort of fell apart that day because that was my husband's dream. and I was keeping him happy by following his dream. It wasn't my dream, it was his. And do you know what? She said to me, I'm going to give you medicine. She found my immune system had completely shut down. She said, every organ in your body is affected. And I said, yes, I can feel it. And she actually said to me, stop working, do not build, and rest. And I'll give you medicines and you'll feel a lot better. I will help you. So I did everything the lady said. I reduced the work. We didn't build. And my whole life basically was rest for a month. And guess what happened? When I went back a month later after taking all of her medicines and boiling the teas up and doing everything she had suggested, I was worse. I was worse, ladies and gentlemen. I want today to impress this upon you all. I was worse. And the reason I was worse was because this hadn't changed. I didn't know that until the second visit when she then reassessed me. She looked at me and she said to me, you've become worse. And I said, actually, I don't feel any better. And she said, Lisa, I'll give you more medicines and keep resting and come back in 1 month. Well, I left there mortified. I cried all the way home. I arrived home. I was so angry. I was seething with outrage. I'll never forget that day. I walked to the sink and threw the medicines down the sink and the herbs in the bin. I looked up to the heavens and I said, I hate you, God, for what you have done to me. I blamed God. What a total ignoramus I was then. Total. We are very good at blaming other people for our problems. I've learnt that. And do you know what? I just went into the lounge and I sat there and I cried for hours. And my awakening happened that day. Actually, after I finished crying, I'd cried so much, there was no more tears left that day. And I had my eyes closed and suddenly I heard voices. And the voices said to me, you are very sick and you are going to heal and you are not to take medicine. And I was like freaking out, big time. I was seeing purple and green in my mind because my eyes were closed. I opened my eyes and I couldn't see anyone because I was not spiritual. I had not awakened. I was totally in a slumber. I was so unconscious it wasn't even funny. And I was told, we are the angels. We are here to help you. Go to the cupboard over there. There are tapes by Louise Hay. Take them out and listen to them. And I did just that. My husband at the time was very connected spiritually, and we had gone to see Louise Hay, and they're the tapes that he had bought at the seminar three years before, and they knew exactly where they were. It was amazing. I'd packed those for some reason. It wasn't an accident. There are no accidents as ever. But when I started listening to the tapes, ladies and gentlemen, this is a really, really, really profound thing to learn. I learnt that forgiveness was the key. I'm a great believer in forgiveness, not of just other people, but yourself, because I had so many negative emotions from past that I had not released. I thought I had the perfect life. I really did. But you know what? I had all this emotional baggage that I had not addressed because I did not know anything about the metaphysical. And my point I'm trying to make to you is that when things happen to you, please know that honestly everything is divinely and spiritually guided by your higher self. Everyone is going to have an awakening throughout their lives. My awakening came through my illness. It was actually MS warning signs. The naturopath was reluctant to tell me, but I badgered her. What do I have? What is wrong with me? Am I going to have a stroke? No. She kept saying, then she ended up saying, you have the warning signs to MS. Well, the divine said you actually did have MS. I was so sick, I'm not kidding you. I actually thought I was going to die. What inspired me to heal was I had 2 small children. My daughter was in kindergarten, my son was in year 6. And I thought, well, my husband's good, but he's not me, and I want to raise my children, and that was my inspiration. I started to question outside of the medical model why I had what I had, because MS is incurable, and it still is to this day, 21 years later. But I healed myself within 2 years of taking no medicines whatsoever, and when I say none, I mean none, and it was all because I changed my thoughts. Because every single thing that you have happened to you throughout your life is created from within. Just please today If you don't believe in life after death, nor did I. I believed that there was something, but I didn't know what it was. But we have spirit guides, we have angels, we have ascended masters, we have entities from the inner dimension. They are people that have transitioned, that are here helping us. And I am saying to you today that these people are real and they exist, because when we die, we transition, all we do is change form. That is all that happens. The soul continues to live on. This journey here on planet Earth is about the soul's journey. It's not our journey. And when people discover this, guess what? That's when enlightenment happens. But it's not just about discovering that there's more to us than what we see. It's about learning and knowing and understanding that the soul is going to create whatever it has to awaken us spiritually. And when we awaken, we are meant to go within, connected to who we are, and look at the silver lining in every situation that happens to you. Do you know why? Because everything's created by the soul for your growth, for us to learn, to grow, to heal from within, to change and to transform. And the biggest lesson that I learned in all of this was we have to come to a place of total unconditional love. Unconditional love towards yourself and others. Stop judging yourself for all experiences you've had from birth till now. Why? Because everything has been created for your soul, and it's a co-creation process between you and other people. You and the other person, the soul has co-created between the two of you in order for you to learn and to grow and to heal. There are no accidents or coincidences in life, and the most important thing that I have learned is that everything is done relating to your soul's journey. Why? Your soul wants expansion of consciousness, and your soul wants healing, and it does it through our spirit. And it's very hard to condense all this in 10 minutes, but the bottom line that I'm trying to tell you all is that there is more to all of you than what you realise. Your soul's journey is just that. It's not our journey. So that's why so many of us have all these experiences that we're not understanding, because our soul wants us all to make the connection to our inner self. And once you make that connection, that's how you actually become enlightened, and you have the knowledge and the wisdom to be able to do the appropriate growth that your soul is seeking. So the inner self connection is extremely important for everybody if you want healing. If you have an affliction, or you are having repeating patterns in your life, things taking place every day or on a repeated basis, that's your clue, people. Look within, and if you can't get the guidance, look at the signs around you. They could come through newspaper articles, through a song, through a number plate, through somebody telling it to you, through a magazine, through a book that falls off a shelf. I've had all of these happen to me before I was connected, but now that I'm connected, I just get it from my inner self. But all of you, look at the warning signs around you. They are there. They are not only there, they're in your lives to help you to grow spiritually, because we're all here to grow. And I hope that all of you at one point have the experience where you make the inner connection to your higher self and you experience true magic and bliss happen in your lives. It's been a pleasure addressing you all, and thank you very much.
Oh, Lisa, wow, I resonate so much with what you've been talking about and with spiritual healing. My life completely changed 4 years ago when I had a shamanic healing inside the walls of Stonehenge in England.
Oh, wow.
And that was the beginning of my journey right now. And it was the most amazing thing. And you could, took photographs of my face at the beginning, and an hour later, you could tell my whole face had lifted. My best mate and my husband sent me texts going, "Wow, Suzi, look at you." And before that, I'd actually seen a number plate saying, "Go Suzi." So I was like, So I'm so with you. Absolutely. I don't see numbers, but I'm a very big believer in paying attention to the signs life sends us, because it really does. So thank you. That was amazing.
welcome.
I really love listening to that. Big, huge clap.
Thank you.
Now let's go to I like to call it the viewer question. It could be the viewer question, the reader's question, the question. Let's see what we've got for you. Let's see. If a person is sick, Is it necessary they do spiritual growth, and how often should spiritual growth be done?
My answer to that question is a very good question, because a lot of people ask me this when I do energy work on them and help them spiritually, consulting them. Any sickness is created by your soul. If you have a cold, you know, it's like just a cold, but if you have something that's really, really, really causing stress in your life, for example, chronic pain or an affliction where you're hindered from doing what you want to do, that's your soul giving you the awakening. We get tap, tap, thump, thump, and then the Mack truck. I had to get the Mack truck, unfortunately, because I didn't get it. But everybody at some point will have that awakening, and yes, the answer is yes, you're meant to be doing the growth because your soul wants it released. Remember, it's the soul's expansion of consciousness and the soul wanting healing, and through the growth that they provide for us through illnesses is how it happens. But a lot of people wait until what happened to me takes place. Don't do that. I would never recommend that because I was so sick. Don't ever get to that point. It's not worth it.
Thank you, Lisa.
Pleasure.
Great answer. I'm going to, while you're here on the stage, I'm going to throw to our roving reporter, Maria. Come on down, Maria.
Hello. I'm back here now, and I've got the amazing Barbie Cawthon with me. Barbie, do you have any questions or comments on our wonderful presentation?
The presentations are amazing, and you know, the whole thing of everything, and I believe it 100% that success is an inside job, and every person, every presenter, no matter how successful they are all coming from the inside, and I think it's fantastic. Yeah.
Thank you, Barbie. And can you please quickly tell us your business?
I'm a feng shui practitioner, so that is an energetic understanding of getting rid of all the negativity out of your business or your home and creating a positive road to success. And I also design signature jewellery, and the jewellery is working with your biorhythms of your body for success, again on an inside method, yes.
Thank you so much. And we have got Emery here. Emery, what have you enjoyed about today's presentations?
Oh, I've related to most of it, and it's just been wonderful and reminding of what we're doing here and how we're doing it.
Wonderful. And do you have anything to share with us business-wise?
Yes, I have a business, Turning the Keys, and I was awoken by Jesus in 94. He came into the room and said everything would be all right. I was very ill at the time, and I immediately changed, and my grandmother was standing in the bathroom. She'd been dead 5 years. And I opened vortices around the world. I lived my whole life, thy will be done. I also opened the vortices in the body, and I worked in Sydney for 20 years teaching and healing and clairvoyance. But I've written the book, Proof of Spirit. I've also got photos of spirit. Once I've opened the vortices, and they're not just orbs, they're actually spirit.
Thank you, Emery. Thank you. And we've got over here. Go on.
Oh, for those of you who don't know, I'm Bethelaine Haynes. And Lisa, thank you so very much for sharing, as everyone this morning. It's been truly magnificent. I've touched my heart multiple times. And Lisa, I guess my question to you is now, with this amazing opening and journey of bliss and connection to your higher self, how do you maintain your magnificence now?
How? There's a long protocol I do every morning and every evening. I meditate 3 times per day, and it's probably going to go to 4 times soon, to keep my connection to my higher self. And my protocol is I have many affirmations that I do. I infuse my body with source energy every single morning. Every day when I wake up, I give gratitude to the universe for being alive, and I list about 50 things. And I envisage my day how I want it to be. I pre-pave it. I segment intend. I do breathing, and lunchtime, in my lunch break, I quickly eat something, and then I will meditate again to reconnect. I just have to always stay highly connected. Evenings, I give gratitude before I go to bed for the day and for many other things. I released everything that wasn't for my best and highest good. I've got all these different prayers that I have formulated myself, which I use, and I'll be putting them all into a book. I've written a book. I just have to add another chapter to that. Because just like I healed, it took me 2 years to heal myself with no medicines. Everyone has the ability inside of them, but you have to make the inner connection to who you are, because your higher self wants that from all of you. It's seeking for you to connect. Without the connection, it will not come in and heal you, because that's the whole purpose of why the illness has been created. And a lot of the illnesses are not our illnesses. They belong to past incarnations that have been recreated in this lifetime, because this incarnation is all about the growth. I will stress that it's all about spiritual growth and personal growth. And I've been 21 years doing it, and I will never stop, ever, because for me, that's what keeps me driven, heart-centered, soul-driven, and so incredibly loving, with a passion, doing this work, helping all the lovely people that are guided to me whenever they're guided.
Fantastic. Thank you for that great question, Beth, but can you share with us your business?
My business is multifaceted, actually, and I work with consciousness and healing and manifestation, and also claiming your mastery, because I'd like you to look at everyone next to you and tell that person that they are the master that they are seeking, and that the true master that we are lives within.
Thank you. So many healers in the room. I love it. And to one more healer, Kuvi.
Hello. I'm really enjoying all stories. All the ladies are amazing, and it's surprising just to listen. And you know, you've got everything. I can relate to every single thing that's happened to everyone, because it's just amazing stories. And one of the things that I'm discovering just by listening to everybody is that a lot of it is all emotion. It is to deal with releasing our emotional blockages. And it's one of the things that I work with. And it's the more we release, the much easier our life is and will become.
Thank you, Kuvi. And one more quick one. Tammy.
Hi, thank you for such a wonderful day. I relate to every single one of these speakers. It's really, really scary, actually. It's really, really close to home. But it's so great to just see that, you know, so many great speakers do come from the resilience and the strengths that they've gained through it all as well. And it really is so true that it's our soul's journey, and disease comes. I've also overcome disease as well, autoimmune diseases as well. And having a child, it's a real understanding that it's that person's journey. You can't fix everyone. They have to be ready at their right time to be able to do that. So thank you so much for sharing your wonderful story as well, and also power of manifestation and everything. I live my life that way as well. So you're absolutely brilliant.
Absolute pleasure.
Thank you, Tammy. Just quickly, your business.
Okay, so that's why you can too. So through my own stories and journeys, I help others discover their own why, and so that they can decide they can do it, so they can also live a life they deserve as well. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Suzi.
Awesome. Wow, that was great. Let's give a huge round of applause to you, Lisa. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Awesome. Now, I've got something really fun. Who watches Ellen? Right, Ellen has this thing, she likes to do selfies from stage, right? I've been known as Selfie Stick Suzi, not because I take photos of myself, because I take photos of other people. But because I don't have my selfie stick on stage, I have lined up our roving cameraman who's going to take a much better photo than I'm going to. He's going to come up on stage. So I'd like you all, we have finished our morning session now. We're about to break for lunch. So I thought before we go, and whilst our lippy is all fresh, before we've eaten it all off, would you mind standing and getting in a little group so we can all do an Ellen wave? Right, and we'll do a pretend selfie with the really nice lighting and the lovely photographer, if you wouldn't mind bringing yourselves into the middle. And then we can all share this as a memento of us being here. And remember, with photographs, if you can't see him, he can't see you. So, oh, thank you. You're all being so good. And at home, we'll just see you on the camera. So at home, you can stand up at home. All those at home in all the countries, stand up and wave. So let's have a pretend selfie. You ready? So I'm going to pretend here. You ready? Yay! Woo! Yay! Let's do a big wave. You ready? Yay! Awesome. Thank you all so very much. So I'm going to say that's the end of our morning session. You can now meet all the speakers that you've heard this morning. They've all got tables around the room with different things on. You can have selfies with them, meet them, have a chat. We're about to have lunch, and then we will resume our afternoon session with 4 more speakers. These speakers are Melissa Groom, Donna Fergurson, Sarah Griffiths, and me. So I'll see you guys all at the live stream. See you all at 1:30. Thank you so much.
So welcome if you have just joined us on Facebook Live. You are missing a great event. We are having so much fun here. So now, I'm Karen Chaston, if you haven't seen the morning event. Our beautiful MC, Suzi Dent, is about to come on stage. How exciting is this? So I have the honour of introducing Suzi. So one moment please, I catch my breath. Suzi Dent, the strongest factor for success in business and in life is self-esteem. Believing you can do it, believing you deserve it, and believing you can get it. Suzi Dent, confidence coach, specialises in the areas of confidence, personal growth, transformation, and self-esteem mindset. She helps you identify your personal challenges and gives you the tools to transform your life. Please give a really, really, really big applause to Australia's most gorgeous beauty queen, Suzi Dent. Yeah!
I've got this one now. Okay. So I'll have that one back later. Hi, everyone. I'm so excited to be here. I've changed into my speaker outfit from my MC outfit just to make things, shake it up a little bit. So, 18 months ago, I needed to change the narrative of my life. You see, I've been doing the same job as a hair and makeup artist in film and television for 35 years and doing the same man for 26. Not that there's a problem with that, because I love my career and I love my husband, but we needed to change things. I needed to shake things up. You see, what had been happening in my life is both my husband and I are self-employed, and he'd been going through depression, anxiety, and anger management problems, and we were coming into year 6. And what had happened is that it didn't really matter, as though, even though my husband is my best friend and my soulmate, and we're self-employed, it didn't matter how I communicated with him, we had lost that. We were all drowning, me, my husband, and our son, in the black hole of his depression and his anger problems. He admits that he was angry 95% of the time. And a lot of us can relate to that, being with a partner who's angry, being angry ourselves, knowing people that have depression and anger problems or, anxiety problems is a big part of who we are as a world now. People really suffer. So my husband was sick, right? A lot of people said to me, I should just leave him. I said, no, I don't quit. This is not what I'm about. So I had to really had to take stock of myself. And I realised that because it didn't matter what I said to him, I needed to change myself. And I needed to really change me and bring something different into our lives. So I started listening to some motivational speakers when I was going on my daily walk. And what I learnt from listening to motivational speakers is that to change yourself, you have to make yourself uncomfortable. And you have to show gratitude. And I like to show gratitude with life, and I'm always happy to, support people and charities and everything. But I needed to change something about me. As a film and television makeup artist, I've been in the self-esteem business for 35 years. I lift other people. I build other women's self-esteem using my brushes and using my words. And I love it. I'm really good at it. I really like it. I'm good as an artist, and I love helping women, but I had never experienced that myself. I was raised by a narcissistic sociopath with jealousy issues. I'll just put it out there. When you're raised by a mother who has no empathy, you're raised in a different way to other people. So I had to dress down for my mother to actually spend time with her, because you could cut the air with a knife with her jealousy, right? My mother used to treat me like my father's mistress from when I became a teenager. From the age of 12, I knew she didn't have my back. So I grew up thinking and believing that there was something wrong with me, because it was always my fault, and there was always something wrong with me because I could never please my mother. It didn't matter what I did, it didn't work. So the positive of that is I became a really high self-achiever, right? So I'll just go for anything and give everything a go, which you do when you're in that situation because you're trying to get their attention. So that's a really good thing. But what it did do to me is I never wore dresses. I dressed right down. I would wear daggy clothes. I hid my body. It was also because of how I was raised and the era that I was raised in. So, I'm 56 now. In the era I was raised, men touched a lot. So the first job I ever had at the bank, I got felt up in the bank. I got sent home by the accountant to put on my dress. All the other girls were allowed to wear pants, but me. He actually point blank told me, I want to look at your legs. Don't come back until you put your dress on. So I spent my life as a young teenager and in my early 20s realising that the way I looked had a real effect on my mother, people around me, the men at work, just everybody. I felt like I was going through life with a neon sign on my head that said, touch me. And I wasn't into that. I was a tomboy, so I couldn't really understand why that was happening. So I spent the last 3 decades wearing daggy clothes, wearing shorts and runners, and never wearing dresses. I never wore any dresses at all. In fact, I developed a pathological fear of frocks. Right? Like, seriously. I couldn't put on a dress. I was raised also by a very religious, I had the narcissist on one side and God on the other, because my father was a very religious man, so I had both of them. It was great. But so you never saw a bra strap. I never wore revealing clothes. I've never shown my cleavage. I've never even wore strapless, sleeveless. I don't wear sleeveless things. So I had very poor body image problems. So flash forward to 4 years ago when I realised that I needed to change myself. All of a sudden, so I put it out to life because we've learnt today about manifesting. I'm a big manifester, and I'm also a really big believer in paying attention to the signs life sends us. So I put it out to life that instead of being behind the camera for a while, I wanted to be in front of the camera. I used to sing in bands, so I'm pretty comfortable on stage with a microphone. And I thought, well, maybe I can do that. It won't disturb my husband too much because I'm not going outside of the comfort zone. I'm not trying to do anything else because for a while there I wasn't allowed to leave the house because his mantra was, if I'm not leaving, you're not leaving. If I'm not happy, you're not happy. So we all stayed unhappy in this black hole that happened every day, and so that's where I was. So I got a call out of the blue from the Mrs. Earth Australia competition, a beauty pageant, right? Asking me to be a competitor. After I picked myself up off the floor laughing because A, I was 55 and B, I never wore dresses in my life and said to her, that's just the biggest compliment you could ever give me, thank you very much. I thought about it for not very long and realised that life was sending me a message. And that I had just been sent a message that was so far out of left field and so far out of my comfort zone that this is what I was supposed to do. So I embraced it. My husband was on board with what I did. I practiced being a pageant queen. I immersed myself into the world, being the high achiever that I am. Also at the time, they were like, the cut-off age was 56, so this was my year. I only had 1 year to do it. So I was like, well, that's going to be me, I'm going to do it now. So I went down to Victoria to compete against women, half of whom I could have given birth to. As the oldest competitor, I had my positive mindset on. I visualised myself winning the crown. I could hear them saying, Suzi Dent, Mrs. Earth, yes, winner, all the time, every day. I was visualising. I was going to win. Even when I went there, I met this woman. She's like, I'm here because, I like to meet women. And I went, that's good, sweetheart, I'm here to win. And win I did. Right, so I won, which was amazing. Thank you. So I became the first Mrs. Earth Australia, proudly at 55. Last July, I found myself in Vegas, representing Australia in the 3rd biggest pageant system in the world. So I didn't do anything dinky, I was up against 36 women, some of them this big, who have been, I think they were born with heels on. And they've been in pageants all their lives. Some of them international models, like really, we're talking really big. When I had my first dress made, I like to say I built my self-esteem one frock at a time. The first one I put on, I had it made for me. It was like my Cinderella moment, and it was all sheer across here. I completely freaked out, burst into tears through fear because you could see my skin. And I'd never done that before, and it really freaked me out. And I go down like a ton of bricks because you know why? There's a big difference between confidence and self-esteem. You can fake being confident, but you can't fake not having self-esteem. And I think I was born with bucket loads of confidence, but my self-esteem had been whittled down over the years. And then with my husband being really angry all the time and I was worthless, I had a pretty low ebb. So I jumped onto this, when I got my crown, and I had businesses come on board with me, which was great. My husband has always believed in my intuition. I always believe in my intuition. I always trust in my gut and what I should do is right, and the path that I was on was right. So there I was in Vegas. My husband cashed in his super so I could travel business class, which was great because I'd never done that before. Being self-employed, I hadn't been overseas in 30 years. And I said to him, well, this is awesome because otherwise I'm going to look every one of my 55 years when I get there. And I'm competing against 21-year-olds, so it'd be good to give me just a little bit of a leg up. So I got there, had a great time. I would have just gone to be in the pod. It was amazing. I was lying there in this pod. It was awesome. So I went there. I had to, in Vegas, like I said, 36 women from around the world who had all competed in their states and in their country to represent their country as Mrs. Earth. I practiced wearing these high heel shoes, which are bigger than these ones. I would stand at the end of the bed like this. For 2 weeks, I just stood there on the carpet. I was shit scared of face planting the floor, in front of Australia. I was like, I can't let Australia down. And by falling on my face, I practiced walking like Jindali Watkins with a book on your head so I could glide and not actually look like a thunderbird, So I practiced every day. I did that. I went over to Vegas. I glided on the stage. I wore my dress that showed my sleeves with a tiny little bit of cleavage. I went out there. There was a swimsuit section as well. I had a swimsuit. There was no way I was going to wear a bikini. I'm going to push myself that far. But I had this really cool Bond girl-inspired scuba suit made that my husband and I kind of thought up. So it had a leg. It had sleeves because I don't like going sleeveless. It had a zipper that went up. I strapped a knife to my arm. I strapped a knife to my leg. I had a knife here, and I trotted out in my really, really high stilettos and went, rah! Because it's all about being fit and healthy. I showed my guns with my knife. I scored straight 10s and a 9.5 from 5 judges. As the oldest competitor, they didn't know how old I was. I wasn't about to say, I'm 55 because I don't really care because I'm all about age as being a number. You can do whatever you want to be, regardless of how old you are. Don't let society tell you that you can't because I'm proof that you can. I really enjoyed being over there. I had an amazing moment. But for me, what happened was my self-esteem was lifted. And I worked on myself and worked on my self-esteem each time I did it. And it was a really big deal for me to put on a dress and to expose my body and to expose myself and to be out there. Because whenever I used to put on a dress, I'd feel rude. I was brought up by very strict religious people. I would feel rude. I would feel exposed. I was so uncomfortable. In fact, I get so uncomfortable that I can't leave the house wearing something that doesn't make me comfortable. And I know you see this really confident woman in front of you because I am. But if I'm not wearing the right clothes, I can't do it. And changing that swimsuit and having the Bond girl thing, I was covered in the bits that I needed covered. I didn't have to show my bottom. I didn't have to show my cleavage. I just stood there as a strong, confident woman. And I got to see the male judges afterwards who all said that I was their male fantasy. As I walked out, I thought, yay, that's why you scored me 10s. Awesome. But what has happened is I have had the most, if my father was still alive, he would say that God had me on a path. And that my life path has completely changed since I've done that. And it actually has. The world of motivational speaking and inspirational speaking has opened up to me. I've been so lucky to have had press all over the world, in India and Australia, all around Australia. I've been on Sunrise love me because I make them laugh. I made Koshi fall off the lounge. That was good. I think that's why they asked me back. I'm ever so grateful that this journey, which for a little while I kind of felt like an imposter because I just thought surely this can't be affecting people because all I did was put on a frock. And that was a big deal for me. But it's amazing that this story that I share of me changing my life and me transforming myself to become the me that I'm always supposed to be, the me that I kept hidden, the me that I changed to make other women comfortable, to make my mother comfortable. I got to the age of 55 and I thought, you know what, if you've got a problem with my legs, that's your problem because you know what? This is what 56 looks like, I'm not into Botox, I'm not into fillers, I'm just a fit, healthy woman with a great attitude to life. I have my husband back, right? He followed my whole journey. He's so proud of me because for him, I built my self-esteem. And that's all he wanted for me. By leading by example in this journey, I have helped my husband. I've helped heal my husband. A few months ago, he sat there with a photograph of me when we first met when I was 29. And he said to that photo, all I need to be is the man that you fell in love with. I liked him. He was nice. He was really cool. I liked him. And all of a sudden, he had this huge moment. He said it's like having a sledgehammer to the soul. And the angry bastard, as he called him, was kicked out. And he has been a different man ever since. He looks at me differently. He looks at life differently. He's a glass half full person, not a glass empty person. He's not negative anymore. I don't have anxiety attacks when I get angry anymore. We have a really wonderful, loving relationship again. I have my soulmate, my best friend back because I put on a frock. But what I did is I changed myself. I said yes to the opportunity. I said yes to the opportunity that life sends us. And that's my message, and that's what I like to tell everyone. Never say no. Because seriously, putting on a frock for me, really big deal. Very, very uncomfortable. But wow, the world has so opened up for me because of that, and because now I feel whole. I feel like my confidence and my self-esteem are now at the same levels. And I feel like I'm a whole person now, which is quite amazing. And I get to share my journey with other women and give them the permission, in a way, without sounding wanky, to take that step and do things that they might be uncomfortable with, because then they can change their self, which is amazing. I'm a huge manifester. Manifested the crown over there. Anyway, so I was in Vegas, right? So I won third runner-up in the world. I came home with a crown. With my crown and my sash, Mrs. Earth Health. Mrs. Earth Health stands for embodying mental, physical and emotional health. I was so stoked to be a 55-year-old woman who did this, who isn't a beauty queen. Well, I am now. I can't say I'm not a frock wearer anymore, because I'm a frock wearer. I can't necessarily wear high heel shoes for a very long time, though, I've got to say, because I do like wearing my runners and my orthotics. But that's my story, and I do hope that you have enjoyed listening to it as much as I've enjoyed sharing it with you. So thank you all so very much.
Wow, that was amazing. Let's give her another round of applause. Okay, Suzi.
Okay, Kaz. No, I won't say that.
We're good friends, right?
Right.
And you shared a story with me this morning that after hearing your story again, because it's so amazing, I'd really like you to take the time to share it with the audience, because it's really good.
Isn't it great when you share something with people and they dob you in?
Guaranteed.
So last night I had these two dresses made for me. I went and picked them up yesterday. I put them on last night and they weren't what I thought they were going to be. And I put them on and my whole self-esteem it's like I have an anxiety attack. I didn't look the way I had imagined that I was going to look here with you today. I put them on. I was completely devastated. I had a split second of thinking, there's no way I can do this. If I have to wear this, I don't have anything to wear. It gave me a really huge reminder that I'm a newly minted dress wearer, that I will always have psychological problems, about body image problems, and about how I was raised, and I'll always have to get over that, one step at a time. And last night was a wonderful reminder, even though it was completely draining afterwards. And hubby bought me this yesterday. Wow, what timing. It arrived yesterday because I couldn't wear it without something. So this is like sleeveless, but I couldn't do that because I don't have the confidence to do that. So last night for me was an amazing reminder that my journey is real, that it is important, me just putting on a frock, and that it has really changed me, and that I can take myself seriously, and that it is a really big deal. So last night reminded me of that my journey is still going on, and that I thought, and that I'm here and I shared it. But it's good for me to share it with you, because I know that people, sometimes we look at people and we judge them by what we see. And I know what people see when they look at me. They see confidence. They say, I want to be like her. It's like, yeah, well, that's great. Me too. And now I am. So I wanted to share that. So basically I had an incredibly vulnerable moment last night. And it's really nice that you asked me to share that, because then I get to be really honest with you and say that it's all one step at a time. Last night I had a huge moment. My self-esteem was on the floor, absolutely plummeted, and my confidence goes with it. And that's why, as I mentioned earlier, confidence and self-esteem are two entirely different things. I didn't have a problem with being on stage and talking to you. I had a problem with not having the right thing to wear because of how I felt wearing it. And that's my journey last night. So thank you.
Thank you. And how amazing have both of Suzi's outfits looked today?
Oh, thank you so much.
So now we're going to hand it over to Maria, our beautiful roving reporter, to ask some more questions.
We've got Angela Stevenson here. Hello, Angela.
Hello, how are you?
Very well, thank you. And what's your business?
We have Inkler Group, so I'm one half of the business, and this is my business partner, Inka, and we create bespoke experiences, event experiences for our clients. We also manage sport and celebrity talent. So, yeah.
And what would you like to share with us about the lovely Suzi and what you just saw?
Well, we actually are here to see Suzi, so when I was invited to this event today, I wasn't sure what to expect, but all the speakers have been fantastic and very inspirational. And the lovely Suzi, we're actually here to, watch her perform, or speak today, perform. She does put on a bit of a performance, which is fantastic, and I think everyone enjoyed it as much as us, so she's, great.
Thank you so much. Thank you, ladies. And I'm heading this way now, just heading over here because there's a couple of people we need to speak to over here because I had a moment earlier and I forgot to ask the lovely Kuvi the name of her business and what she does.
My name is Kubi. I am the emotion code practitioner, the energy mediator, and I work with releasing emotional blockages from people's bodies, hearts and mind.
Thank you so much. Now, we've got the incredible Glenn Spargo here, and Glenn is important for many reasons, but I'll first get him to tell you about his business.
Oh, thank you. My name's Glenn. I've got a real estate agency called Harcourts down in Coolangatta, and I'm here supporting Mel.
And he's supporting Mel because he's her amazing partner. And
Main squeeze, I was going to say main squeeze.
Main squeeze as well, yeah. But what I wanted to mention was that, for a long time there have been comments made about how a really powerful man has got a powerful woman standing behind him, beside him, but I think there is a really strong message here about incredible men who are really comfortable with themselves and who they are and who are happy for their women to shine. And I want to thank the men that are in the room who are like that and the men out there watching and who are a part of a duo where they are supporting their women to shine. So thank you. That's all for now.
So let's go on with our show because it's exciting. I'm just going to say to the people at home that have just joined us, hi. Thank you so much for joining us. We'd like to turn around and wave to the camera to the lunchtime people. Hi, everyone. Nice to see you. Please put where your country is from and where you're from and your name. And remember to win a fabulous prize from Melissa Groom that's worth $4,000 worth of coaching. I'd like you to put on it what the one thing is that you want to be known for. So please put that on because you've got a chance to win a really amazing prize. Now, I'd like to welcome our next guest. Let me have a little word about her. Standing in a crowded marketplace is one of the biggest challenges business owners face today. Melissa Groom, the Visibility Mentor, specialises in growing your personal brand and income through the power of video. She helps you establish yourself to be top of mind in your industry and grow a tribe of your ideal clients without spending 24/7 online. Please give a very warm welcome to the wonderful Melissa Groom.
I believe that our biggest challenges in life are often our biggest gifts. It is our responsibility to share those with others and help them through their challenges. Hi, I'm Melissa Groom, and this is part of my story. I don't have any letters next to my name, but I do have a university in the degree of life and a master's in overcoming adversity with a positive mental attitude. In March 1999, my first child was born, a healthy baby boy. Well, he looked perfectly healthy. At 7 months of age, he contracted the rotavirus, and he went downhill fast. He was admitted to hospital with dehydration and malnutrition, and I felt like the worst mother in the world. I should have known better. I'm his protector. As parents, we beat ourselves up so bad when things like this happen. Later that night, the doctor came in to give us the results of Nicholas's blood tests. It was midnight, and those 5 hours felt like the longest days of my life. He delivered the devastating news to us. The blood tests are indicating that your son has renal failure. What does that even mean? What could have caused this? My mind and my heart was racing 1,000,000 miles an hour. We asked the doctor, why did this happen? I'm not sure why. There could be a number of reasons, he said, but we have phoned the Sydney Children's Hospital and we've let them know that you're on your way. I didn't sleep a wink that night, watching over my son and praying that he would get better. God, please don't let anything happen to my son. And if you have to take anyone, take me. We were told that one day he would need a kidney transplant, but they told us they don't know when. They said most likely it would be around puberty. That's a really long wait. In 2000 and 2002, I was blessed with a daughter and another son. 3 kids in 2 years and 10 months makes a very busy household. Especially adding in all the extra checkups that we needed to go to at the Sydney Children's Hospital. And then the sleepless nights I stayed up sponging down Nicholas to reduce his fevers. He was on medications and daily injections and had a very strict diet to follow. I had to study every food and every liquid to know the phosphate and the potassium and sodium levels that were in it, because if he had too much of it, it would cause a heart attack. So I walked around with that pressure, not only of being a mother of 3 children, but watching everything he ate and drank. Now, at the time, I was married, living in a stable, secure relationship. At least I had that to keep me grounded for what was to come ahead. But unfortunately, things didn't work out with my children's father. And in 2006, I made the difficult decision to separate with their father. The children were only 3, 5, and 6. I didn't know how I would manage. I just remember thinking, this is really nothing compared to what I've already gone through in my youth. I am strong and I can do this. I have to, for my children. I made the decision to pack up and leave Sydney, and it was not easy leaving all of my family and friends and support network. But I needed space and time to heal. I wanted to start a new life. So we packed up the car and we drove 9 hours from Sydney, and we settled in a small coastal town called Kingscliff, which I have called home for the past 12 years. I was determined to make a great life for myself and my children. I purchased a home for us, but I had a huge mortgage. It was a big commitment to make on my own. I converted our 4-car garage into a granny flat so that it could help pay the mortgage. I volunteered for local community events to regain my skills, my confidence, and to meet new people. After 7 years of being out of the workforce and losing my confidence and my self-esteem, I knew I had to re-educate myself. So I retrained as a mortgage broker. What was I going to do with the kids? I didn't have that family support network. I couldn't just go and put them into before and afternoon school care. So we had a live-in au pair who helped me with 20 hours a week of childcare and housework in return for her board. It worked out for a while, but then working away from home whilst juggling the children, who all have lifelong conditions, 2 with life-threatening ones, It just didn't work. The au pair couldn't take them to their specialist appointments, give them their medications and their injections. I needed to do this. After 2 years of being on my own with my kids, I met a wonderful man who also had 3 kids of his own. He has been our lifeline for the last 10 years and been an amazing support to myself and our 3 children. Moving forward to 2009, Nicholas's father and I were at my son's routine checkup at the Gold Coast Hospital. Although we were separated, we still made joint decisions together that involved the children, and this was one of the biggest decisions we had to make. Who was going to be the donor? The doctor said to us, it's time to start planning for the transplant. We have a time frame of about 12 months. And we had 10 years to think about this. 10 long years, our whole family had to wait for this moment. In that moment, the doctor said it's time to start planning for the transplant. I felt a mixture of emotions. I felt excitement. It was going to happen finally. I felt relief. Thank God. I felt anxiety and I felt fear of the unknown. My son's life was at stake, and so was his father. I went home that night. I was desperate to find a way where I could work from home, as I knew Nicholas would need extra support during and after the transplant and probably for the rest of his life. One night I sat down at the computer and I Googled how to start an online business. Thank God for Google, hey? It's my best buddy. I did a few courses, but still hadn't really established anything when it came to the time of the transplant. I thought that I'd have everything sorted so that we wouldn't have to have that financial worry in our lives. But I thank God for the beautiful man that came into our life and supported us through that most difficult time. In September 2010, at the age of 11, Nicholas had a successful kidney transplant. His dad was the donor. We stayed up at Ronald McDonald House in Brisbane for a couple of months after the transplant for his daily checkups. And it was whilst we were living there, Nicholas asked me, Mum, can I start a YouTube channel? I want to do Toy Story reviews. And I thought, wow, that's going to be a great thing for him to just pass the time. So I said, sure, mate, no worries. And I set the YouTube channel up for him. Now, every night, we stayed at Ronald McDonald House for probably 2 months, and I would go down to the kitchen and prepare dinner and our meals, and I'd go around and talk to the parents, and it was a really awkward time because you could feel the energy in the room. I was excited and happy because my son was doing so well, but I couldn't show that because I could feel the other mums and parents in the room, and I talked to some of them. Their children weren't going home. And that just really broke my heart. So I had basically done an online course before we went up to the hospital. It was a video marketing course. Now, I still had no idea what business I was going to do, but I just knew it had to involve video. After Nicholas had started his YouTube channel, he came running into me one day. Mum, you've got to look at this. Check this out. Like, what is it, mate? He's like, this guy in America is doing a shout out for me saying you've got to go down and look at Nick Shug's YouTube channel. And another one in the UK. And I couldn't believe it. I had no idea about YouTube then. Social media, sure, I was on Facebook with friends and family, but didn't realise the power of the social media and how it connects us with people all around the world. So it got me thinking. I got onto YouTube and I started having a look, and I came across Gary Vaynerchuk, who had started Wine Library TV back in 2006. Now, he was sitting behind his laptop just doing reviews of wines. And I couldn't believe the subscribers and the views. It was huge. And I thought to myself, well, if people will sit and watch videos about what wine goes with what meal, then maybe I could put together a web TV show to help all of these parents who are at Ronald McDonald House who are feeling isolated and alone from their family and friends. Now, I had no experience in TV or film or TV presenting. I didn't even think that far ahead, but I jumped on LinkedIn and I put a call out, who wants to join a parenting TV show with me? And I formed a panel of experts and we created Toddlers to Teens TV, and that was formed from Ronald McDonald House back in 2010. And within a few weeks, we were being viewed in 78 countries around the world thanks to the power of video. Over the next 2 years, despite some very hairy times that we had with Nicholas and his health scares, we put out a show every week. It was this consistency that myself and the other experts on the panel grew our profile. This is how my passion for what I do now started. Over the past 8 years of having an online business, it has given me the freedom to be able to be at home and raise my children. I absolutely love what I do, helping people to share their message with the world. I may have had many obstacles and challenges along the way, but that didn't stop me from reaching my goal, to be able to work at home and raise my children. I encourage you all to write down all the challenges that you've had in your life today and to see them as a gift. It has made you strong and the amazing person that you are today. And I believe it is our responsibility to share your life's lessons to help others through their challenges. I urge you to share your story. It just may change someone's life for the better. And one more thing. I'd like you to talk to your family tonight about becoming a donor, because way too many people still die today waiting for a transplant and never get a second chance like my son did. Thank you.
Incredible. You are just amazing. I first met Melissa, stand in the middle. I first met Melissa and I did her hair and makeup for one of her very first video filming sessions, and we kind of bonded from there, which was nice. I tend to bond with people, you know, it's a bit hard to believe, isn't it? You've been, just for me personally, the most amazing support, as she has for so many people in this room and so many of you at home. She's just amazing. She's selfless, she gives tirelessly to everyone, gives of your time. And I'm going to cuddle now because we're both going to cry. Cuddle. She's just amazing. So let's have another round of applause for Melissa, please.
Thank you.
You're so cool.
Thank you.
Right, audience question. Let's see what we're going to ask Melissa. Dun, 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 dun. What is the best tip you can give to someone who wants to establish themselves as an authority in their industry?
Okay, so for me, my tip for you would be to be very, very clear about the one thing that you want to be known for. Because too many people, I ask this question and they can't answer it, or they're wearing multiple hats. So think about when you are out and about, who you're talking to and what is the relevant answer. But if you've got multiple hats, try and just condense it down to one, that one thing that you want to be known for, because that way we're going to remember, if we know someone who's got that problem, we know that Maria is the lady you go to if you want to retire with joy.
Awesome answer, Melissa. Now, speaking of Maria, let's just cross live to our roving reporter, Maria, on the floor to ask some random questions of our audience, please.
Hello, Marguerite. How are you?
Hello, Maria. I'm fine, thank you very much.
Oh, you have to use your big voice, Marguerite.
Big voices. Now, Marguerite, we met at one of Melissa's get-togethers. We did. Can you please? Yes, we did. Can you please tell us quickly your business?
Thank you. My name, is this loud enough?
Yes, thank you, darling,
great.
yes.
My name is Marguerite McMahon. I am a personal travel concierge. So I've been a travel agent for 35 years. It's been my trade. Now with Melissa, I've known Melissa for quite some time. Where are you?
She's nicked off.
She's run away. She doesn't want to...
She's humble and modest, but you can still talk about her.
Yeah. And I kept dipping my toe in about doing videos, etc. And it was this year that I took that plunge earlier in the year. And I did a few of the videos. I never did go live, but I did go live today with these girls here.
Yes.
And going live today, it went all the way to Norwich in the UK. It went to Cromer in the UK. It went to America. So it was quite funny, and they're all laughing and saying that we're crazy. But that's what life is. Now, if I know that I'm taking up the time, and I usually do, and what Melissa was saying about if we could get on that donor list, back on the 14th, I think the 14th of March of this year, my young brother got a kidney transplant because somebody had been on the donor list. So he'd been waiting for 10 years. So...
Well, that's awesome. Yay. Wow. Fantastic.
Thank you. Hello, Cherie.
Oh, it's Miss Cherie Campbell.
And Miss Cherie Campbell here, the grooviest dancer in the place. Yes. Hi, Cherie. What's your business?
I pet cats.
She doesn't.
No, all right, sweet. I lead a brain boot camp in motivational psychology based in science.
Wonderful. And what would you like to say about Melissa's talk today?
That all of our speakers and Melissa's speaking, the most beautiful light is reflected and refracted through the density of diamonds, which are caused by surviving pressure. So for every woman here today, it's a result of everything we've gone through to get us to the strength of where we're big enough and strong enough to be able to support, genuinely help each other and serve the bigger picture of humanity. So thank you.
Thank you, Cherie. Wonderful. And we've got Annette Polk here. I'm going to stop with Annette. And hello, Annette.
Oh, how are you, Maria?
I'm very well, thanks.
Awesome.
What would you like to share?
Look, today's been amazing for me. I haven't met. I know a lot of these ladies who have spoken today because we're all friends on Facebook. Let's face it. And but it's nice to see them in person. Suzi, Dent. I mean, I follow her probably more than most. I don't stalk. I don't stalk, right? And Cherie and of course yourself and Barbie Cawthorne. There's a lot of people in the room that I do know of, and I'm retired now, so I just follow all the girls and support everybody who's got something to say, because we've all got something to say, and I'm proud to say that I now have something to say, and I do occasionally say it. So I'm supporting the people who have their say. So I'm having a wonderful day.
And she's wonderful at rhyming, which is great. Thank you so much. And I'm throwing back to you, Suzi.
Thank you very much, Maria. On the floor. Now, we've got 2 more speakers coming up. And I'm very, very excited to introduce the next lady. Actually, I'm excited to introduce everybody. I think you've got that now. I just get excited about stuff because life's exciting, isn't it? We're in here, we're listening to all these amazing stories from these amazing women, and we relate to so much that we've heard today. And I've certainly enjoyed listening to everybody's stories, and I've enjoyed being on stage talking to you guys as well. So our next speaker is, her name is Donna Fergurson. It's resplendent in purple, I might say, over there. I do love purple, being a beautiful royal colour. Now, identifying women's unique leadership qualities, Donna understands the necessity of aligning before true visions can be executed. It's not glass ceilings to break through, it's building the bridges. Working with women on a vibrational level to gain recognition and successfully executing leadership roles as women raise their vibration physically, emotionally, mentally and spiritually to honour her higher self, overcoming daily challenges to live an extraordinary life. Please welcome vibrational alignment coach, author and psychic protection healer, Donna Fergurson.
The universe speaks to us in unusual ways. It's whether you choose to listen to that message or not. It's up to you. 1, 3, 5, 110, 21.7. They may be random numbers to you, but by the time I finish speaking today, I hope they're etched in your mind forever. You see, 1 in 3 women suffer from domestic violence. 1 in 5 women are stalked. 1 in 5 women are harassed in the workplace. 110 women on average die every year directly related to domestic violence. And $21.7 billion per year is spent on domestic violence against women. I believe I was put on this planet to gift my message to women all around the world, to demand respect by being respectful, to demand cultural change in the corporate world by being that change, to demand love by loving and embracing themselves for who they are, to honour their higher self. I believe I am the person to support women as they walk their path, creating their extraordinary life. You see, when the universe speaks to me, I listen. November the 17th, 1978. An ordinary day for me, driving to work. Newsflash came over, stating, Reverend Hector Harrison passed overnight. I thought, oh, that can't be right. How did that happen? It's just not possible. Did I even hear correctly? You see, it was only 8 days away from when he was going to marry me. On the 25th of November 1978, I married. And, you know, really, at the end of the day, was it a problem that he passed overnight? No. Did I still get married? Yes. Why does any of this even matter? Because on the 23rd of December 1978, just 1 month after my wedding, I woke up in the middle of the night and I thought, oh my God, what is going on? Where am I? What's going on? What's happening? And I had this fear that built up inside me. And as I realised what was happening, the fist hit me in the face. It went on for hours and hours. I lost consciousness several times during the night. And as morning came around, I got up and I staggered to the bathroom, battered and bruised and sore and sorry. And I looked in the mirror. As I looked in the mirror, and I looked again, and I looked even again, there was not one part of my face that I recognised. My eyes were almost shut, and swollen and black and blue. My face, my cheeks were swollen and black and blue. My mouth was swollen and cut, and the taste of blood was horrifying. And the pain in my ear from my ruptured eardrum was throbbing. And my head was so sore from being dragged by the hair. The next 48 hours I took by staying in my car on my own, all alone. It was 2 days before Christmas. What was I to do? Could I go and knock on my parents' door and spoil everybody's Christmas? No. After 2 days, I desperately wanted a shower, as you can imagine. I wanted to wash that blood saliva taste in my mouth. But I knew I had to go to the same place that this occurred. And for me, the fear of what I didn't know what to expect when I walked in that door had overtaken me. So I drove back to my home where this nightmare occurred, and I walked in the door. Remember, I'd been gone 48 hours. And the apologies and the empty promises that I received when I walked back revolted me to the core. But you know what? Life goes on. Life evolves, and in January of 1980, my daughter was born. In June of 1980, as I started coming down a set of stairs, because on the way to the appointment that I had, this overwhelming fear rose inside me. And the night that I woke up being beaten, I thought I was going to die, but this was so much worse. I actually believed I wouldn't live past that day if I stayed with that person another moment. So as I walked down the stairs, you know, I've said, and a lot of you have said today, the universe speaks to us in unusual ways. But sometimes it picks you up and it carries you where you need to go. I believe my angels picked me up and carried me to where I had to be to avoid what I thought would be my last day on this earth. The next 51 hours were extremely traumatic as I waited to be reunited with my daughter. And when it all settled down, I was always a strong, independent young woman. How did this happen to me? But when it all settled down, I knew I wanted my life back. And I wanted it back with connection to my alignment, my vibrational energy, and honour my higher self. I wanted all women to raise their vibration and honour their higher self. I knew what I had to do, but I could only do that by aligning myself mentally, physically, emotionally, most of all, and spiritually. Because this would be the key to unlocking the extraordinary life. I created programs to drill down into your life's journey and understand and acknowledge and release and stand tall as an extraordinary woman, and to know that they are enough every day, regardless of what is around you. I have created programs for women in business because I believe they are extraordinary leaders. And fear no longer means fear to me. What fear means to me is find endurance and applaud your results. And as you honor your higher self, whoops, my final message is this. For the past 38 years, I have travelled my journey. I've discovered much. I've learnt that children will always tug at your heartstrings, whether they're 8 months, 8 years, or 38 years old. That life will always provide us with challenges to overcome. That the universe will always speak to us in unusual ways. And the only person that is responsible for your life is you. Make great choices. Raise your vibration and honour your higher self. and know that you are enough every single day. And I ask you, why settle for ordinary when you can be extraordinary? Thank you.
That was awesome, mate. That was so good. Obviously, I related a lot to that, as many of us did. Can I give you a cuddle?
Wow. Can I say I've never shared that story ever before in
Oh,
public?
thank you, darling.
Not even my husband knows that.
Oh, well, can we have a huge round of applause for Donna, please? That was one of the most bravest things she's done so far, is to share it with us in front of an audience. So thank you. Thank you for sharing, because it's a big deal when we share our soul to people.
It is.
And you put yourself out there and you bare yourself and you tell these horrible things, and you tell them because you need to tell them, and you tell them to help other women and other men, you know. So yay, thank you so much.
Thanks.
That was amazing,
Thanks,
wasn't
Suzi.
it? All the amazing speakers we've had today. It's been such a hugely emotional day. Yeah? Okay, we're going to have a special moment. This is what it's like when you have soulmates and you have a man in your life who's going to be there for you and support you and help you be extraordinary, and you help him be extraordinary.
Absolutely.
You know, and
Could
when
not
you have,
do it without him.
that is so wonderful. And doesn't he look great in his shirt? Don't they look great together? How cool are they? Very, very nice. You can stay on stage, young man, while I'm just going to ask a special question to you, Donna. If there is one thing you could do today to help or give back to other women, to help them raise their vibration, what would it be?
Wow. You know, there's so many things, but when you can absolutely, I'm eating the mic here. That was you. I think you squashed it
tweak it
into
down a
me.
bit. There we go.
When you can tune into your intuition and you trust your soul with all your being, then you will automatically start to align all 4 areas of your life, and you will raise your vibration, and you will always honour your higher self. And if I could take every woman and embrace them so that I could raise their vibration so they know what it's like to live this extraordinary life that we are experiencing, I would do that in a second.
That's awesome. What a great answer. Thank you, Donna. How wonderful. I just want to give another huge round of applause to Donna, because that was very brave. I'm all about braveness. Now, you both stay here for a minute, because I'm going to cross over to our raving reporter on the floor, Miss Maria. Testing, 1, 2.
Testing, 1, 2, 3. We're back. I would like to introduce Miss Marie Ireland. Marie, can you please tell us about yourself?
Yeah, sure. Just from today, I've learnt more about how powerful my story is, and I'm 46 years today, and at the age of 28 I went through menopause, and from a shock to my system, and I had 8 serious conditions that I've healed today, and my experience is never been the experience I expected to go through in my life. And as a young child, I had a big dream, and I knew what I was to do when I was very little, but it didn't turn out that way. In saying that, my experience, and like everybody else's experience, has become the story that we are to deliver and impact people's lives. And now I'm writing a novel because I've had some spiritual encounters, and I'm guided to create something amazing, and that's to do with who we all are, you know, our connection to higher source. So it's an amazing adventure story, and I know I'll be on stage probably next year, but yeah, it's showing me that my voice is important.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you. And is there any aha moments you had just today, particularly with Donna?
Just the power of my story, and I relate to every speaker that's been up here, as we all do, it's because we all go through the same emotions, maybe different experiences, but we all connected in the same way. So that's my message really, yeah.
Thank you. And Samantha. Hello, Samantha Jackman.
Hello, Maria. Thank you for inviting me today. I feel so honoured. And hello to everybody out there in TV land.
And what's your business, Samantha?
My business is Coffee at the Gardens. It's at the Botanic Gardens. It's a kiosk that has come from humble beginnings. The regional Gold Coast Botanic Gardens has had very little brand awareness, and so, yeah, I'm there plugging away 7 days a week.
But she's taken time today for her, so I'm really happy she's here. Thank you. And you want to add something?
Oh, yes. I've also started a brand new business because of the seasonal ups and downs or ebbs and flow of my business, and it's an online coffee bean subscription company called the Cool Bean Coffee Co., which was given to me, the name was given to me from my daughter, who has helped me with a lot of the social media along the way, and so I'm honoured to be here today because of my loving family, and of course all of you girls in here. I just want to say, yes, we all relate to one another, and I can just feel the sisterhood right here and now. Yeah. Thanks, girls.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And can I just interview one more person? Sure. Hi, my name's Maria Padarakis. Yay! Hey! I'm from Retiring with Joy TV, and I support women to live with passion, purpose and vitality at retirement and beyond. And I think it's really important that when women are going through that life transition, that they know that they have so much wisdom, light to share with the world, and my mission is to fill the world with feminine sunshine at every age. There we go. Thank you.
That's awesome. Thank you, Maria. Thank you so much. And a big round of applause to Donna Fergurson. We're going to clap you off the stage. And what's your name? Graham. Thank you, Graham.
You go on first.
We're up to our last speaker now. This has been a very exciting day. So our next speaker is Sarah Griffiths. The difference between successful and unsuccessful people is that despite the many, many hurdles, mistakes and difficult times, the successful ones do not give up. The only limit to your potential is the one that you place on yourself. Please welcome peak performance strategist, entrepreneur, author and speaker, Sarah Griffiths.
Lucky last. I expect, like me, you're wishing it wasn't the last, because today's been amazing and I wish there were 8 more. But anyway, it's me. So if you're ready for one more story, I'm going to share something with you. Every time I revisit it, it doesn't get any easier for me, because it's my story and it's absolutely charged with emotion and memory. But it's maybe who I am. So we need to go there. So in October 2006, I emigrated to Australia with my husband and my twin boys. I expect you got the UK accent, so I don't need to tell you where I came from. So you can imagine you don't undertake emigrating lightly. You know, it was all planned, and we were all set for this amazing, incredible new life, this really exciting adventure, and I was so looking forward to it because I was so over the life that we had back in the UK. So this was really exciting for me. But what happened through things that are another whole story that we won't visit today, those plans didn't happen. So the life that we came here for and everything that I was looking forward to, it just didn't materialize. And it led me to the point where I got so desperate that in October 2010, just 4 years after we emigrated, with my expectation of this whole amazing life, I hit absolute rock bottom, and I had actually decided that the only way out, the only way to move forward, was actually to kill myself. And that's not a decision that you take lightly, and I started to plan it, and I decided that the easiest way to do it, because I didn't want my children to find me if I took an overdose, so I decided, quite funny now, I decided that I was going to drive at speed into a tree. that's how I was going to kill myself. I must have seen it in a film or something, but that's what I was going to do. But that's actually how I came to be sitting one October morning in my absolutely gorgeous house, sparkling blue pool, sun shining, and I just decided today's the day. I can't do this anymore. And I sat by that pool and I wrote a letter to my 14-year-old twins, and I absolutely poured my heart out on paper. And I apologized to them for everything that I felt I had not been able to be as a mother. And I finished by telling them that I felt they would all be better off without me. And I folded up that letter, I put it in an envelope, fragranced it with my perfume, and I left. I didn't kill myself because I'm here. But I left. So, how had I got there? Absolute, abject dislike of who I was. I had no confidence, no self-esteem, no self-belief, nothing to live for. That's how I saw it. And you've already heard today from other people who are carrying scars from early childhood. And that is exactly what this was for me. You see, I grew up in Britain in the 1970s, and we were poor. We were poor. Now, that wasn't a crime. It was post-war. You know, my parents were products of post-war Britain, and poverty and scarcity, that was the norm. And for me, yes, I knew I had rumpled socks, I had second-hand clothes, I had scuffed shoes. Sometimes I was cold and hungry. But for most of my life, or for my young life, I just seemed the same as everyone around us. And I had no idea that we were actually quite poor. So we were living in a council house, which is very similar to social housing. So it's not somewhere that you would live if you could live somewhere else. But that was fine, because that's what everybody did. And then at the age of 8, so it's junior school then, so a couple of years, I think it would be about year 5 or 6 here, I moved up to junior school. So I was 8 anyway, whatever the years were. And suddenly my whole world is bigger. I'm being exposed to more, I'm older, I understand more. And what I realized was that I was different to the other children around me. That we sat on tables like these, and from the things they said, I could tell that the other children had more. We didn't have uniform, they had more clothes. They never wore the same clothes running. They had several sets of shoes and things like that. They had sweets every day for break. That was unheard of for me. We just didn't have anything like that. And I knew that somehow I started to get this idea that I was different and I wasn't good enough. I couldn't match up. And there's this one particular incident that was the real catalyst for me that set in motion this absolute, it just cemented into me this feeling that I wasn't good enough. And there was this one particular girl that I really, really wanted to be friends with because she was popular. You know, you could tell she had the nice things, and I just wanted to be friends with her. And I invited her back to my house for tea. So that's the equivalent of a play date. Yeah. And I was really looking forward to this because if we had guests, we would have cake. And we didn't have cake every day. So again, this was a big deal. And I never, ever forget, she came into school, and I'm so excited about this play date. She came into school and she said, "My mum says I can't come to your house for tea because if you come to my house, we've got to invite you to our house. And my mum says that you're not the kind of child we want at our house." So just think about that. I'm 8 years old. And I was bubbly, I was friendly. You know, I was just a kid. And someone said that to me. And I didn't know what to do with that. I didn't even know what it meant, but I was starting to get all of these messages that were just building this picture that I wasn't good enough. There's a theme running through there. So I went home and told my mum what had been said. And she must have had her own issues around it, but what she said to me was, "Oh, don't worry about it, you just need to go and find some other friends." That's okay, isn't it? If you're an adult, if you or I want to go and find other friends because we don't like someone, we just do that. But when you're a child in school, on a particular table, you're powerless. You're vulnerable. You don't have any control over your environment. So I just had to go back and just put up with it, really. And even the teachers would sometimes say things that just let me know that I wasn't quite matching up, just to keep me in my place. So that's really what started that for me. What made it actually worse was that at that time, my parents were Christians and we'd gone to church, and it was a really big part of my life. And my parents were asked to leave the church. Obviously, no one told me why. I didn't know what happened, but they left the church. And so I lost that anchor in my life. And I lost the friends that I had there because suddenly we didn't go. But what happened was, for me, alongside what was happening at school, suddenly I'm not good enough for school and I'm not good enough for church either. And again, that was just made quite clear to me because living down the road from us was a woman who had gone to that church. She went to that church, and whenever she saw me, she would cross the road rather than cross my path. So you would think actually that with that pattern, that really set the pattern for how I went through my life. And it really didn't matter what I did, I could not get over. We all do this. We get these ideas, these beliefs, these learned behaviours when we're children, and we carry them into our adult lives unless we deal with them. I'm sure many of you here today, you recognise that. And that's actually how I came that day to make that decision that I just could not go on. Now you would think from where I was that you would think that I wouldn't be successful. But actually I had a couple of saving graces. Number one, I was really clever. And number two, I was attractive. So when I left school, I had good grades, and I went to London and I got a great job and I have friends and I travelled and everything else. And you would think it looked great, and on the outside it did, but in the inside I was dying. I was dying. I had social anxiety beyond. I criticised myself. I criticised everything I wore, everything I said, and I had no belief, even though I was successful. I had a great job, and it all should have been good, but this underlying belief was just eroding everything. And that's how I came on that October day. I came to be sitting in my car, and I'd made this decision. And you can imagine it, I'm holding the steering wheel, and I'm going to do this. And I'm racing towards this tree, and I've got my hands are clenched and my eyes are clenched shut, and I'm determined I'm going to hit this tree. And all of a sudden it just comes into my mind that if I do this, I'm going to ruin my children's lives, and the bullies will have won. So I'm racing along here. Right at the last second, I open my eyes, I swerve to miss that tree, and I'm over here, there's another tree there, so I swerve to miss that tree as well. And then I'm sitting there, and the car stopped, and I'm sitting there, and I'm shaking, and I'm crying, and everything that had been held up inside me just came out for 10 minutes. And then I made a decision, and I said to myself, what do you think you are doing? You are not that person. You have never been that person, and you never, ever will be that person. Just get a grip. And that's exactly what I did. I didn't even go home. I went to the shopping centre, I walked into the management leasing, and I said, I want to lease some premises. And a few months later, I opened my first restaurant. That's what I did. And that's where it goes on. So from there, I opened my first restaurant. Today I have 2 restaurants, plus my coaching business. And it would be very easy to look at that and think, oh, wow, great. It wasn't easy. Believe me, I had so many emotional issues and so many hurdles to overcome. So really for me, that was 8 years ago, and it has been an 8-year journey. Don't anyone ever think that just because you decide to do something, I wasn't suddenly a different person. I was the same person with all of these issues. I just decided I was going to deal with it. So in 8 years, I have done so much work. I've done work on my businesses. I've worked on myself. What I realized was I quickly became a business owner, but I wasn't a leader. You know, I wanted to be a leader. I wanted to be respected. I wanted to run a business where my staff were happy to work. I wanted to set new levels and new standards, and that's what I've done. And I've worked really, really hard in 8 years to run businesses that I'm proud of, that work to really high standards and ethics, where people want to work. And I've worked really hard to be the person that I am today, that can run 3 businesses with multi-million-dollar turnover, and I coach and encourage other people to do the same. So my finish is, your beginning is irrelevant. Your beginning does not matter. What matters is your end, and it's up to you to create the end that you want. That's it. Thank you.
Wow, Sarah.
I got it out.
Mate, you did. That was incredible. I'd like to just, on behalf of everyone in this room, thank Sarah for choosing life.
Yes,
choosing to
thank
live. You chose to live, and look what you've achieved. And look who you've become, because you didn't let them beat you.
Absolutely.
And you overcame all these amazing things. And I'm ever so proud to have met you.
Thank you.
Amazing. Awesome. My parents were excommunicated from the church too. and they're pommies too. Must be something in the water. I don't know. So let's ask a little question to you. Can I cuddle you first again?
Of course.
Wow. Amazing. Isn't it amazing? Oh, it's been such a powerful day, hasn't it? Well, goodness me. Right. How can I do what you do? That's my question to you. How can I do what you do?
Goodness. Okay, is that the question? I do get asked that, and that's this whole great thing about being someone and doing something that other people want to do. That's very powerful, isn't it? I think the important thing, and I shared it in the end, is to actually realize that you can decide, but there's a lot of work in between. I think there are a lot of people who look at what I have now and the life that I have and what I've done, and they think that it just happened. People are always amazed when I tell them, no, I didn't have money behind me, no, I didn't have a private education, no one gifted me anything, I've done it. And that's the most important thing. You have to be prepared to start from nothing and work on yourself, because you have to become someone else, because you can't do something different as you are. You have to evolve and you have to change, and you have to be prepared to do that. And it's uncomfortable, as you saw today. Absolutely. Yeah, that's it. So get uncomfortable and invest in yourself is the only way. I'm investing in myself all the time, leveling up all the time. Yeah.
Good for you. Thank you. That's awesome. That's great. As they say, like, success is easy. It's the journey that's hard.
Oh, yeah.
You know, once you're successful, it's like that's the easy part. But getting there, you got to work really hard. You've got to do everything.
Yep.
So I'd like to give one big round of applause to the amazing Sarah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sarah Griffiths. Now that's we've got a little bit more to go. We don't have any more speakers. That's our speakers all finished for today. If you here and at home have enjoyed doing this as much as we have, and you'd like to be a speaker on Australia, you've got a voice. You've listened to all these women today. 9 women have a voice and tell you their story, and it's been fantastic. I've enjoyed being here. Maria's been enjoying. Or pick the next roving reporter. It'd be great. You know, you can build a new career. And Maria.
We'd just like to do one last very big thank you to all of you today for giving up your time to come here. Thank you so much, and I hope you enjoyed all of the speakers here today. And a very big thank you to our sponsors, Big Voice Media Group. This event would not be possible without them. Thank you so much, Clayton, for all the work that you've done all behind the scenes. And I want to say thank you to Katie and Grace up the back, my daughter, and my spare daughter. She's been part of our family since we were 6, who have been part of the event crew today. And thank you to my beautiful partner, Glenn, who, as Maria said, has been my knight in shining armour, and also just my backbone and my support and helping me shine. But also thank you to Suzi, amazing lady, for being our MC for the event. And a very big thank you to all of our speakers who have opened up their hearts to share their stories with the world. You ladies are all amazing, you rock. You have inspired me, and I'm sure many other people who are going to be watching this live stream all around the world. So I want everybody to stand up, and we're going to give a big wave goodbye to everyone who's watching the live stream all around the world. Thank you guys for tuning in. We hope to hear your story next time.